Golf Club with analysis, player interviews, and play-by-play coverage.
Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8th.
Hear the 2024 PGA Championship on PGA Championship Radio, Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Hopefully you get a couple guys going at the same time, and we're just looking for consistency. It's been tough, it's been frustrating at times, but also feel good about the progress that certain guys have made and that the progress that we've made in terms of, our prep and our work.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the SiriusXM original podcast, Black Diamonds. Hear stories about the legends of the Negro Leagues and conversations with the all-time greats they've influenced, like 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter.
I don't care what race you are. You need to know your past. This is U.S. history. It's not just baseball history.
Hear over 70 episodes of the award-winning Black Diamonds podcast, available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
An alliance to end homelessness.
This
Slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The last game the Blue Jays will play in Oakland. As baseball bids farewell to Oakland's Major League team, Toronto tries for one more series win at the Coliseum over a historic rival. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host, Nick Blackmore is our producer, and Tom Young is our technical director. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Dollard des Ormeaux and Vaudreuil d'Orient, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. It's a matchup of swingmen today as two relievers turned starters take the mound. Bowden Francis pitches for the Blue Jays as Toronto deals with injuries to Alek Manoah and Yariel Rodriguez. It'll be Mitch Spence for the Athletics with Oakland hosting near a full rotation on the injured list. Standings, lineups, and first pitch is next. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball streaming on sportsnet.ca, the Sportsnet app, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The 2024 U.S. Open is coming, and you can hear all the action on U.S. Open Radio.
Hey Insiders, TSI Mike here. Thank you for coming back for another Toronto Blue Jays game. Every single Blue Jays game is live right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you all for being here. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. We got to get these like button numbers up with these Blue Jays games. Get more fans in the chat. You see what it does in those hockey games? Let's do the same thing here with the Blue Jays games. Thank you all for being here. If you're new, hit that subscribe button as well. Turn on that little bell so you get notified every single time we go live here on TSI. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the chat, and go Jays go.
And makes the catch. A shutout for Kevin Gausman on 109 pitches. His first 9-inning complete game. The Blue Jays win 7-0 on a masterful day for the righty, who's smiling with Danny Jansen on the mound.
You know, quick innings. Had some double plays to help me kind of keep the pitch count low. And, you know, I've pitched 9 shutout innings here before and no decision. So, yeah, super cool. So always nice when you can give the bullpen a day off.
Kevin Gausman, incredible yesterday for the Blue Jays. His first career shutout. Toronto won the game 7-0, evened up the series, and now have an opportunity to take the series in a rubber match against the Oakland A's. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris, the Blue Jays today will look to somewhat piece it together, but the first guy on the mound for Toronto will be Bowden Francis, rather than entering as a reliever like he did in his last appearance against Baltimore. Francis gets the start. What do you think?
Well, I said yesterday during the broadcast that I was hoping that it would be Bowden Francis. I've never been a huge fan of bullpen days, just because, like I said yesterday, you have to get 6 to 7 guys that are perfect the whole game. You're bound to get 1 or even 2 guys that are off their game during a bullpen day. So if Bowden Francis can come in and throw 60 to 70 pitches, he threw 57 pitches in his last outing against Baltimore, I think that will eat up a good chunk of this game. Hopefully he pitches well and it goes well for him, but then you can get the Richards, the Nate Pearsons, and then hopefully Jimmy Garcia to finish it off.
Francis and the Blue Jays looking to make headway in the American League East standings today. Let's look at the standings, brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. At the top of the division, the New York Yankees, despite back-to-back losses to the LA Dodgers, 45-21. Baltimore second at 41-22. The Red Sox dropped 2 in a row against the White Sox. They've fallen below 500 at 32-33. The Rays and Blue Jays tied for fourth at 31-33. Both the Red Sox and Rays in action right now. We will update you on those scores throughout the game, but let's get to John Schneider's lineup. Chris, who do the Blue Jays put out today?
Leading off for those Toronto Blue Jays and playing second base is Spencer Horwitz. Behind the plate is Danny Jansen. He'll bat second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is at first base and will bat third. Bo Bichette is hitting in the cleanup spot and playing shortstop. DHing and batting fifth is Justin Turner. George Springer will bat sixth and play right field. In left field, batting seventh is Dalton Varsho. At third base, batting eighth is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And batting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. He'll be in center field. On the mound is righty Bowden Francis. And
against him will be Mitch Spence, pardon me, as Spence is just about to get ready here to start the ball game. Spencer Horwitz in the box, and we are ready to go. Sunny day in Oakland. Spence, the righty, into the wind. His first pitch to Spencer Horwitz is lined to left field, a base hit. Rolling into the glove of Miguel Andujar for Horwitz. The first pitch he sees is his first hit of 2024.
And that's got to feel good for him. He takes that cutter at the top of the zone and hits it to the opposite field. He said before the game, that's what his game is. He uses the big part of the field. He can take that pitch on the outside part of the plate and hit it to the opposite field. That was a good swing right there from Spencer Horwitz.
He's leading off first with Danny Jansen at the plate. Spence in the stretch and the pitch. Swing and a pop-up, right side foul. Tons of space at Oakland Coliseum, but that one just gets out of play. Bouncing on the top of the Blue Jays dugout. 0-1. Time of the first pitch today, 4:07 Eastern, 1:07 in Oakland, where it's 18 degrees Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit, and very sunny. Not a cloud in the sky on this Sunday matinee. No outs, runner on first. Spence with a peek at Horwitz and the pitch. Jansen takes down and away. For Mitch Spence, his 5th start of the year, 16th game overall. Began the season in the bullpen for the Athletics, but has moved into the rotation recently. He's 4-3 on the season overall with an ERA at 3.86. 1-1 to Jansen is hit in the air center field. Bleday started back. Now will move in and make the catch. 1 down.
Now batting the first baseman, number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about to bat for the first time. It's the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, beating Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 2 times aboard yesterday for Guerrero, a double and a walk. Spence's pitch. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 0-1. On the season, Vlad hitting .294. Double was his 12th of the year yesterday. 7 homers, 30 RBIs. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball, right field and foul out of play. 0-2.
Another big swing. That's 2 big swings in this at-bat from Vlad.
We saw him nearly homer yesterday. In the 9th inning, he hit a fly ball that Seth Brown ran into the wall, catching. That would have gone out in 17 ballparks, including Rogers Center. Turn and throw to first. Horwitz is back in standing. Blue Jays in their baby blues today. The A's in their home white uniforms, green font with the yellow trimming around it. Vlad wears a pink elbow guard and pink batting gloves. 0-2 pitch. Checks his swing on a breaking ball that looked good, called high, and that's a break for Guerrero. It's 1-2.
That was a tough call for Mitch Spence against a very good hitter. I think that might have clipped the top of that strike zone there.
It was a high slider from Spence. He's a cutter, slider, curve, and sinker guy. Occasional change. 1-2. Guerrero reaches out for the slider and hits it foul. Home plate umpire today is Brian Knight. Chris Guccione, the crew chief, at first. Gabe Morales at second. Ryan Additon umpires third. New baseballs for Brian Knight. Guerrero back into the box. 2 taps of the plate. And now he rests the bat on his right shoulder. Pops it off and waggles it toward the third base dugout. The 1-2. Swing and a hot shot off the mound into center field, a base hit. Horwitz around second. He'll stop there. Bleday throws it back into the infield. It's 2 singles in the inning for the Blue Jays. First and second with 1 out.
Mitch Spence actually throws that cutter-slider combination 81% of the time. That's actually pretty rare because it's theoretically the same pitch, just a little bit different. You would want to mix in something there that runs arm side or that goes arm side, but both of those pitches are very similar.
Cutter's going to be a little bit harder, a little less movement. Slider slower, but more movement. Bo Bichette is up, 2 on, 1 out. The pitch. Swing and a hot shot up the middle, right at the second baseman Diaz. Flips to second, 1, and over to first for a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. 2 hits, no runs, 1 left for the Blue Jays. No score, middle of the first. Bowden Francis takes the mound next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. and inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bowden Francis walking up the hill for the Blue Jays as we're about to get underway in the bottom of the first inning in Oakland. No score, Blue Jays and Athletics. Game 3 of the series. Switch hitter batting left, Abraham Toro at the plate, and the pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali's our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Francis kicks and fires. Missed high with the heater, 2-0. For Bowden Francis, it's his 7th appearance, 3rd start of the season. 2-2 this year with an ERA at 9. 2-0. Foul tipped off the glove of the catcher Jansen. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think it's tough to gauge how his stuff will stack up against this A's offense just by looking at his last game against Baltimore. Baltimore has the best offense in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion. Has the best offense in all of Major League Baseball. Oakland is a very, very different offense.
2-1 fastball, hit behind the plate foul, 2-2. And you are talking about a top 3 team in runs per game in Baltimore and a bottom 3 team in runs per game in Oakland. For Francis, his first start in a long time. Last time he was the starter for the Blue Jays was April 7th at New York. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the splitter low. And after falling behind 2 balls and no strikes, Francis strikes out Abraham Toro for the first out.
And that split was nasty. It looked like a fastball right out of the hands. Abraham Toro way out in front of it. I like what I saw right there.
The splitter is the new pitch for Francis this year. He'll feature a 4-seam fastball heavily, also a curveball, and then mix in a slider and splitter a little bit. His pitch to J.J. Bleday is down with the fastball, 1-0.
His velocity in his first game back against Baltimore was a little bit down as well. It was about 92, 93. Already seeing a couple 94s today.
Averages 94 on the year. Righty winds, kicks and delivers. Fastball inside, 2-0. Bleday at the plate is the center fielder for the A's. Drags his barrel across home plate. Hitting .241 this year. Leads the team with 18 doubles. Also has 9 homers. 2-0 pitch. High, ball 3. Early on, Francis has thrown 5 balls, 3 strikes, and only one of those 3 strikes was actually a pitch in the zone. Righties 3-0. Fastball low, ball 4. Bleday will take a 4-pitch walk.
I didn't love the pitch selection there. You saw in the 2-0 pitch, it was a curveball early on, and I've said this a lot about Yusei Kikuchi. Early on in ball games, you have to pound the strike zone at the bottom of the strike zone with fastballs. No nibbling, no going black to black. Just pound the bottom of the strike zone, make them swing the bat.
Francis looking to regroup here. First pitch to Brent Rooker is a curveball outside, 1-0. No score. Runner on first. 1 out, bottom of the first inning. Rooker, the most dangerous hitter on this Oakland team, an all-star last season. The pitch. Fastball high, 2-0. .272 batter is the Oakland DH. 12 doubles, a triple, 12 homers, and a team leading 39 RBIs. .2-0. Hit foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. You mentioned Francis's last appearance against Baltimore. He went 3 1/3 in his first appearance back from the injured list. Gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. 2-1. Fastball popped up. Back of second. Spencer Horwitz into shallow right. Long run, makes it over the shoulder catch. Tough play for Horwitz, fighting against the sun. Thought maybe George Springer would call him off and take that ball, but Horwitz showing some range, makes the play.
Yeah, we saw this same sun yesterday, same time. It's directly above the field. You can see there's barely a shadow. Spencer Horwitz doing a great job fighting that sun and fighting George Springer running in as well.
We can't hear what's on the field, but no hand signals, at least from Springer. It looked like Horwitz had to go make that play, and he did. 2 down. The pitch to Miguel Andujar is hit well center field. Kiermaier going back, turns at the track, makes the catch to end the inning. 1 walk, but that's all the damage for the A's. They leave 1 on, no score after 1 inning of work. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Get closer to exclusive talk, comedy, and entertainment on SiriusXM. Be part of the buzzworthy moments with Andy Cohen.
Kelly Clarkson, I do want to do a duet with you.
No nonsense advice with Dr. Laura.
Is this advice that he asks you for? No. Then shut the hell up.
Unparalleled wit and A-list interviews with Conan O'Brien.
Billie Eilish.
How loud can you shout?
You haven't even heard it.
That's why I'm asking.
Don't miss an exclusive moment on SiriusXM.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the 2nd inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19+ play responsibly, Ontario only. Justin Turner leads off for the Blue Jays. First pitch he sees is outside from Mitch Spence. 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score, top of the 2nd. Turner, a .231 hitter, 4 homers. The 1-0. Called strike on the outside edge. For Mitch Spence, the Oakland starter, this is his first year in the majors. A 10th rounder by the Yankees in 2019. Righty winds and delivers. Outside, 2-1. Was drafted out of Division II, University of South Carolina, Aiken. Is the 8th ever USC Aiken Pacer to make the majors. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack from Turner on a breaking ball. 2-2.
He's actually having a pretty good season as a true rookie. 4-3 with a 3.86 ERA.
Guy that was picked up in the Rule 5 draft by Oakland this past winter. First overall pick in that draft. 2-2. Off the fist foul off to the right.
Do you think he tells people he was the first overall pick?
And I mean, you could just stop the sentence there and then.
I would.
You know, you could say I played at University of South Carolina. Whisper Aiken. Righties 2-2. Swing and a foul off. A's, though, were excited about him at the time. He pitched full-time as a starter with the Yankees in AAA last year. made 29 starts through over 160 innings, which you don't see a ton out of guys in the minor leagues. ERA was just under 4.5. 2-2. Outside 3-2.
Yeah, in the minor leagues, you generally see 110 to 130-ish as a starter, just to keep it safe.
And maybe a signal that the Yankees were going to expose him by letting him pitch that much. 3-2. Turner yanks it down the left field line. Andujar running to the corner. It one-hops into the wall. Andujar will play it off the bounce. Turner into second with a stand-up double to lead off the second.
Well, that was just a spinning slider over the inside part of the plate. We've seen Justin Turner do very well against those middle-in sliders, those off-speed pitches, and he just drills it. One-hops that wall in left field.
And that's a textbook Turner plate appearance. A couple pitches on the outside edge, hit foul, one in on the hands, and then he finds a mistake. Here's George Springer, runner on second, no outs, top of the second, the pitch. A little bit high, says home plate umpire Brian Knight. Looked pretty good on the breaking ball, 1-0.
And now the Blue Jays are in business. A man on second base, nobody out. George Springer has a job to do right here.
Springer, a 202 hitter this year, 13 RBIs. 1-0. Swing and a liner, left field, down for a hit. Turner had to wait. He'll advance to third. Springer up to first. Runners on the corners. Still nobody out.
That was a great swing from George Springer. Another hung slider from Spence. And the best part about that swing is George Springer didn't try to do too much. He knew what he was doing with that pitch. That front shoulder didn't fly open. He stays right on it and hits a good line drive to left field.
So back-to-back hits for the Blue Jays. They had 2 hits in the first, but did not score. Here's Dalton Varsho, first and third. No outs, top of the second. Right on left pitch. Outside, ball 1. Varsho is the Blue Jays leader in RBIs this season. He has 31. .215 hitter, 10 homers. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Over top of that cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I also love to give kudos to Carlos Fablis. Third base coaches are the unsung heroes of baseball.
Why do you say that?
Just because obviously they have to know the situation. They have to know the base runner, how hard the ball was hit.
Know the outfield arm strength.
The outfield arm strengths, but they just have to be so knowledgeable about all aspects of the game. And I feel like they don't really ever get any love.
He's also the main infield coach, too. Yeah. When they're talking about defensive infield work, Carlos Fablis worked a ton with Spencer Horwitz at the outset of this series. 1-1 to Varsho, hooked on the ground foul, 1-2.
But that one mistake that they make, it's over for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of a thankless job. It feels like you only notice them when a guy gets thrown out.
Yeah.
You rarely see a guy score and everyone in the ballpark goes, that was a great send, by the way. First and third for the Blue Jays. No outs, no score, top of 2. The 1-2 to Dalton Varsho. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Springer take it off, throw down to second, not in time. 8 stolen bases in 8 tries this year for George Springer, and now Toronto has second and third with nobody out.
I love the aggressiveness. The Oakland A's thought about taking a look at that, but George Springer clearly safe at second base. He gets a great jump. Looked like he was about to slide off the base at second base, but he kind of hangs on.
He was definitely in there. He was in there way before the tag. Here's the 2-2 to Varsho. Swinging a pop-up, back of the plate and into the seats.
And the A's infield is all the way back, so they're willing to give up this run to get this out here.
I think if Varsho hits it anywhere but at the third baseman, Abraham Toro, they probably score. Turner on third, Springer on second. Nobody out. A breath from Spence. The righty delivers. Swing and a pop-up, and that'll get foul again.
Although Justin Turner is at third base, and he's definitely not a burner. If something is hit hard, I think, to the infield, probably flip a coin as to whether Justin Turner is going to score or not.
Could depend, too, are the Blue Jays sending him on contact? Are they not? You do that a lot with one out. It's a little more up in the air with nobody out. 2-2 again. Down and in, ball 3. Spence with, it appeared to be some words of frustration after delivering that pitch. He's had to battle a little bit in this inning.
Well, that's the thing. When you have a pitch that is a very similar looking pitch, I feel like you're going to be battling a lot.
3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a slider. And that's a big first out for Mitch Spence, his first strikeout of the day.
Yeah, that's probably worst case scenario right there. Guys on second and third, nobody out. Swing and miss on a backup slider. Again, we've talked about how tough those backup sliders are to hit, but that is not the time right there to whiff.
So second and third, and now the corners will pinch in for the A's. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa up, 1 out, no score, the pitch. Down and away, check swing from IKF, appeal to first, and he did go around, 0-1. Kiner-Falefa is a .268 hitter this year, 4 homers. Turner leading off in foul territory at third. Springer a little bit behind the baseline at second leading off. The 0-1. Swinging a bouncing ball up the middle into center field, a base hit. Turner in to score. Springer around third. He gets the wave, and he'll slide in safely head first. 2-run single, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. 2-0 Blue Jays.
Well, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is so good at getting that barrel to the baseball. Doesn't really take that big of a swing on a sinker right there on the outside part of the plate, but doing everything in his power right there to put a ball in play, and he just finds the middle of the field, and just like that, the Blue Jays are up 2-0.
Bit of a Baltimore chop. He bounced that off of the dirt circle in front of the plate, and it hopped over the mound and almost fully into center. First pitch to Kevin Kiermaier, called strike 1. 2-0 Blue Jays. Runner on first. Still only 1 out, top of the second. IKF leading off first. He has 3 stolen bases this year. A look from Spence in the 0-1. Swing and a fly ball hit to shallow right center. Now backing up a little bit, actually, Blade in right center field. The center fielder makes the catch. And there are 2 outs.
Well, as soon as Kevin Kiermaier hit that baseball, you could see the frustration. It's like he wanted to slam the bat on the ground. Just missed. Cutter, slider, right down the middle. Pops it up to center field.
So that'll bring up Spencer Horwitz with 2 down. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Horwitz singled on the first pitch of the game in the first inning. First offering here in the second is called strike 1. Although Spence is a rookie, Horwitz is one of the Blue Jays who actually knows him a little bit. They were playing against each other in AAA last year. Spence for Scranton Wilkes-Barre and Horwitz for Buffalo. Turn and throw to first. IKF's back with a dive.
And I believe that's the same division. Buffalo and Scranton are in the same division, so they play each other a lot.
Spence started against Buffalo 4 different times throughout the International League season. 0-1. Outside, runner going, throw down to second on a hop, got him. IKF thrown out by Shea Langoliers, but the Blue Jays get 2 on 3 hits. It's Kiner-Falefa's single that makes it 2-0 Toronto, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
So Blue Jays fans, you want to know about salsa? Salsa is more than dancing. It's more than music. Salsa is the passion and spirit that is at the core of the beautiful cultures of Latin America. The Blue Jays are bringing salsa to the ballpark on June 27th. Be one of the first 15,000 fans in attendance and receive a Blue Jays chip and dip bowl. Celebrate salsa and create core memories with your Blue Jays. It's salsa night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Right, Vladdy?
Everybody salsa.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck.
the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I was brought up in the front row, that fire and brimstone.
Bottom of the second inning at Oakland Coliseum. Last time the Blue Jays presumably will play here against the Oakland Athletics in the final season of Oakland A's baseball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-0 Blue Jays thanks to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Now Bowden Francis' pitch to Daz Cameron. Hit foul, 0-1. One fan behind the plate almost fell out of his seat as that one was lined back into the netting. I mean, we've ducked in the booth many times. The ball hasn't come in there yet, so I can't judge a ton.
You can't blame them.
Next pitch to Cameron. A curveball flipped in, swung on and missed. That's strike two. Daz Cameron in just his 10th game of the Major League season, hitting .214 in the big leagues. 0-2. Swing and a liner sent to center field, down in front of Kiermaier. 2 hops and into the center fielder's glove for a base hit. Cameron's representing the first Oakland hit of the game.
That was just a mistake right there. An 0-2 pitch, a curveball that just hung over the middle of the plate. Dax Cameron didn't miss that pitch, but if you're 0-2, you're either elevating or you're burying something, and Bowden Francis right there just leaves it right over the middle.
So Cameron aboard at first, 1 stolen base this year in the previous 9 games, and here's the catcher Shea Langoliers. First pitch curve is low, 1-0. Langoliers ended the top of the second by throwing out Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's a catcher with a strong arm, 26-year-old from Portland, Oregon, in his 3rd Major League season. Runner on first and the 1-0 pitch. Popped him up. Back of the plate, Jansen looking for it, battling the sun. Vladdy's going to call him off coming down the line. Makes a 2-handed catch in foul territory. 1 down.
Boy, that sun is tough. You could see Danny Jansen fighting the sun with his bare hand covering his face. And then thankfully Vlad came out of nowhere and you could hear him yelling, I got it, I got it. Took charge and got that pop-up.
He probably ran 80 of the 90 feet down the line, but Jansen had no clue where that ball was.
He was fighting that sun.
So 1 out, and now the A's first baseman, Tyler Soderstrom, is up, a 185 hitter, batting from the left side. Runner on first, 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the second. First pitch is yanked through the hole on the right side, a base hit. Springer picks it up and right. Cameron rounding second, but he'll stop there. So 2 hits in the inning for the A's, who have a runner in scoring position with only 1 out. That brings up a name that might be familiar to Blue Jays fans. Aledmus Diaz will hit now for the Athletics, the former Blue Jays shortstop. Diaz, a right-handed hitter, close stance, white pant legs hiked up, exposing the green and yellow socks. The pitch. Curveball high, 1-0. Only the 5th game of the year for Diaz, who began the season on the injured list. He's 1 for 11 to start his year with 1 RBI. Speed on second and Cameron. Francis looking at him. Now looks at the plate and the pitch. Curveball low, 2-0. Aledmus Diaz had a groin strain in spring training, and while recovering from it, suffered a calf strain that kept him on the injured list. Turn and throw to second. Back in with a dive is Cameron. And hear the drums in the background. It's such a unique environment in Oakland that the Blue Jays are playing in for the final time. 2-0. Swing and a bouncing ball, foul to the right, 2-1.
You mentioned this is the last time. How do you think the Blue Jays players feel about it? Outside of Chris Bassett, because I know Chris Bassett probably has some feelings towards it.
I wonder, if probably, if you're George Springer, this is the 118th time he's played here. That's got to be weird. I know John Schneider described it as weird was the word that he said. 2-1. Fastball hit in the air, left center field. Kiermaier backing up in front of the track. Stutter steps, makes the catch. Cameron tagging from second. Throw coming to third, and Cameron slides in time. It was a strong throw, but a little bit offline by Kiermaier. So now runners on the corners, 2 down for the A's.
Yeah, if that throw is on line, they might have a shot at Dax Cameron. A little bit off of third base. IKF catching that baseball and diving towards Cameron, sliding into third base. Good play all around. Strong throw, just a little bit offline.
Have to mention, because he just made a play, Kiermaier's wearing sunglasses and has sunglasses on his hat as well. I have no idea why that's the case, if there's somehow 2 different types of sunglasses.
Or maybe it just looks cool.
It's very possible.
I truly don't know why he's wearing 2 pairs of sunglasses. I think you're probably right. Maybe a
polarization and not. I don't know.
But he's not fishing, so.
First pitch to Max Schumann. Number 9 hitter and shortstop pops it up to first. Vladdy shielding his eyes from the sun with his glove. Falls back as he makes the catch in foul territory to end the inning. 2 hits for the A's, but they leave both on base. No runs, and the Blue Jays are up 2-0 after 2 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Show your pride in the heart of Toronto and create core memories. Join us at the ballpark on Friday, June 14th for Pride Night, presented by TD, and get your Blue Jays Rainbow Rope corduroy hat. At the core of who we are. Celebrate Pride and enjoy great Pride Night activities around the ballpark. On Friday, June 14th, arrive early to get your Blue Jays Rainbow Rope corduroy hat giveaway. Pride Night, presented by TD. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 3rd inning at Oakland Coliseum, the Blue Jays leading 2-0. Top of the order for Toronto, Spencer Horwitz at the plate. Mitch Spence, the righty, lines and delivers, and Horwitz hits the first one foul. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Horwitz was at the plate in the second when the top of the second ended because IKF was thrown out trying to steal second base. 0-1. Outside.
This has got to be pretty fun for them facing each other. They probably don't really know each other, but 2 guys that faced off a lot in AAA. Now they're making more money, wearing uniforms that fit a little better.
1-1. Called strike on the outside edge. Horwitz shaking his head. It's 1-2. Mentioned last inning, 4 starts Spence had against the Bisons last season when he was a Scranton Wilkes-Barre rail rider. 1-2. Broken bat looper, left field line, foul ball. Horwitz will do it again. He actually, Spence, mostly dominated the Bisons. If you look at 3 of his starts on April 2nd, he goes 5 innings, no runs. Or no earned runs. June 24th, 6 innings, 1 earned run. September 19th, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. But 1 of the 4 the Bisons rocked him. They scored 9 runs, 8 earned in 5 innings on July 30th. This was right before a bunch of the Bisons, Schneider, Horwitz, Clement, came up to the majors.
But I also find it hard to believe that Spence would dominate Horwitz. Horwitz hit, 335 last year, 337?
337 last year, 335 this year at AAA. On that day that they rocked him, Horwitz went 2 for 3, had 2 RBI singles. 1-2 pitch is low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You also had an Ernie Clement homer and double that day. Davis Schneider had a base hit and a walk as well. The 2-2. Swing and a bouncing ball right side, fielded by the first baseman Soderstrom, over to the bag, 1 down. The 3rd inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Dollard, Deormeaux, and Vent de Rouy, Dorion, Quebec. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Horwitz actually bounced that ball off the first base bag. Sneaky, tough play for Soderstrom, who gets the out. First pitch to Danny Jansen is a slider in there, strike 1. Jansen flew out to center in the first. Right on right pitch. High, 1-1. I mean, how can you not love Oakland? It sounds like you're at the 2010 World Cup and there's vuvuzelas in the background right now. Now, I know a possum made its home at Oakland Coliseum last year, but there's some charm to it. 1-1 pitch, high, 2-1.
I never had the privilege of playing in Oakland Coliseum just because I was always in the National League and there wasn't that equal game thing back then. But I'm going to miss it.
2-1 pitch is bounced to the left side, picked up by the Canadian third baseman Toro. He'll throw over to first, 2 down.
There's such a charm to it. I love the colors. I love how big it is. I feel like that's just unique. You don't really see outside of, I guess, Dodger Stadium, huge stadiums like that anymore.
I mean, you look at the 70s, the late 80s and early 90s. This was one of the premier franchises in all of baseball, won 3 World Series in a row in the early 70s. Here's the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 1 for 1 today. Swing and a miss on a cutter breaking off the plate. 0-1. 2-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs and the base is empty. Top of the 3rd. Spence waves off a pitch, now winds, and the 0-1. Bounce foul, 0-2.
And there's also it's a cool complex. The old home of the
Warriors.
The Warriors. You could throw a rock and hit that stadium. So it's just a place that if you haven't been to, then I guess you can't go there now. But
0-2 pitch. Vladdy lifts it down the right field line. On the run, Cameron toward the corner, reaches out and makes a nice play before slamming into the sidewall. Nice play from Daz Cameron. A 1-2-3 third for Mitch Spence. We go to the bottom half of the inning. Blue Jays up 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 156th running of the Belmont Stakes is on Sirius XM. One final chance at Triple Crown Glory in 2024.
Arcangelo is fiercely determined, trying to pull it off. He's in front. Forte's coming right. Oh, he's got a chance. He couldn't do it.
For the first time ever, legendary Saratoga Racecourse hosts the Belmont. Don't miss live coverage beginning Saturday afternoon at 4 Eastern on Fox Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 83, and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Tune to SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 all year long to hear expert opinions and analysis from former players, coaches, and executives.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
J-Scare wants to create even more life-changing 50-50 winners, so they've introduced a first-time ever Split the Pot 50-50 raffle. The grand prize will be split between 10 different winners. Your chances of winning have never been higher. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Bowden Francis starts Abraham Toro off with a fastball for a strike. 0-1's the count, bottom of the third. Next pitch is bounced on the ground, right side softly, charging in Horwitz, gloves, throws to first, and beats him by half a step. One down.
Nice play right there from Horwitz. Coming in on that baseball, making a tough throw. It's really hard when you're that close to first base to make an accurate throw. You don't want to throw a little lob, but you also don't want to throw it 100 miles an hour. Horwitz doing a good job right there, finding that middle ground.
That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. 2-0 Blue Jays. 1 out now. Bottom of the third inning. Horwitz talked a little bit about his transition to second base to the media 2 days ago. First pitch to J.J. Bleday is called a ball. Was right at the knees. Looked like a good pitch, but it's 1-0. One of the things that Horwitz mentioned was at first he's just thinking, I got to block the ball by any means necessary. At second, you have to have a bit quicker of an internal clock. 1-0 pitch popped up right side. Guerrero doesn't see it. Now he does. He'll call off Horwitz, run back, and make the catch. 2 down.
I mean, we talked about it a lot of times today, but that sun is tough. You can see Vlad talking to himself, talking to Horwitz. He, again, had a tough time with that pop-up.
Horwitz was coming in on it. Then Guerrero came in and called for it. It was way behind both of them, but Vladdy made the adjustment. 2 down. Brent Rooker coming up. And you could guess he might take this first pitch, as the A's have recorded 2 outs on 3 pitches to start this inning. For Francis, 2 hits and a walk allowed in 2 2/3. 2-0 Blue Jays. Here's the pitch. Called strike 1.
And Francis has found the strike zone this inning. He's pounding the strike zone. I know it's a small sample size, but he's pounding the strike zone. And even that curveball right there was right down the middle.
Eye black on for Rooker. Right-handed hitting DH. 0-1 inside. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement. For a great selection of renovation products and quality brands, Timber Mart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. The 1-1. Curveball loops in for called strike 2.
Bowden only at 32 pitches through 2 2/3 now.
This is ideal for the Blue Jays, who gave Francis a traditional start today rather than a bulk opportunity with an opener in front. 1-2. Low with the splitter. Rooker lays off. You had mentioned it earlier. It was 57 pitches for Francis in his last outing. He has thrown as many as 79 this year, although he was built up fully to be a starter at the beginning of the season. The wind and the pitch. Check swing, and he went around, says home plate umpire Brian Knight. A strikeout for Francis on the slider, and a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. 2-0 Blue Jays, a third of the way through. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fantasy Sports Radio is drafting the best baseball players in history in an all-time fantasy baseball draft.
There's a new home run champion, and it's Henry Aaron.
From Babe Ruth to Shohei Ohtani to Ricky Henderson and more. Hear how the best baseball experts draft the best players of all time.
I'm taking prime Mookie Betts over prime Lou Gehrig because of positional availability.
Check out the board on X at SiriusXM Fantasy. And hear the draft picks by searching Fantasy Drafts on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Basketball history is made in the NBA Finals.
Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Where superstars become icons. And one moment can change the course of basketball history.
Back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James!
We're bringing you inside the 2024 Finals on NBA Radio with nonstop coverage from our experts and every second of every game.
That is one of the more dominant first halves that we've ever seen in Finals history.
NBA Radio, Channel 86, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We're talking college basketball on ACC Today.
Great run for NC State men's basketball. The story of this team is one I don't think anybody will forget.
They were able to accomplish a lot. They captured the hearts and the minds of the nation. DJ Burns became an absolute star nationally. I love it.
ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Bo Bichette leading off for the Blue Jays takes the first pitch off the plate, ball one. Mitch Spence on the mound for the A's, and his 1-0. Hit on the ground to short. Vacuumed up by Schumann, a step and throw to first, one down. Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. 2-0 Blue Jays in Oakland. Top of the fourth, one out. Turner, who's 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored, faces a pitch. Called strike one. Let's go across the pond because it's the last time we can this season. Second game of 2 between the Mets and Phillies at London Stadium was a classic. 0-1. Turner hits it foul to the right, 0-2. Maybe call it a 90th minute winner. The Mets come back in the top of the ninth inning. They were trailing by 2 runs, trailing 4-3, trailing by 1 going into the ninth. Scored 3 runs that inning as the 0-2 is a tapper foul by Turner. He stays alive. Kind of unconventional runs. They got the tying run on a bases loaded hit by pitch and the go-ahead run on a passed ball. The go-ahead run on a pass ball and an insurance run on the pass ball. There we go. And the go-ahead run on the hit by pitch. You know what I mean.
You sound like me over there.
I know. 0-2 to Turner is cut on a miss. Strike 3. 2 down. So, anyways, the Mets score unconventional runs. They go up. The Phillies down by 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Load the bases. Score a run. So with 1 out and the bases loaded, they're down only 1. Tapper in front of the plate. And Luis Torrens, who was recently acquired by the Mets from the Yankees, picks up the tapper, steps on home plate, throws to first for a game-ending 2-3 double play. Springer swings at the first pitch, hits it foul into the stands, 0-1, and the Mets beat the Phillies 6-5 on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard.
I have to say, watching that game yesterday, because I didn't see the game today, but watching the game yesterday, the stadium reminded me a little bit of Olympic Stadium.
Just because of how big it is? I mean, it's no offense to Olympic Stadium. It's much nicer than Olympic Stadium. It was built like 5 years ago. 0-1 pitch, called strike, 0-2.
Maybe it was the turf. The turf kind of looked a little bit.
It's kind of just
80s,
a carpet they
90s,
rolled on there.
Yeah.
Home of West Ham United. 2 outs in the 0-2. Check swing, and it foul tipped in and out of the glove of Langoliers, so Springer stays alive.
It looked like Springer took a couple steps to the dugout. And as he was doing that, he was letting everybody know that he foul tipped that, but wasn't sure.
Springer 1 for 1 with a single and a run. The pitch. Hit in the air, center field, right at J.J. Bleday. Doesn't even move, makes the catch head high, and ends the inning. 7 retired in a row by Mitch Spence, middle of the fourth. It's 2-0 Blue Jays over Athletics. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gossman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gossman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gossman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd, and get your Kevin Gossman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center. Or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the fourth inning. Bowden Francis on the mound for the Blue Jays. Toronto up 2-0. First pitch to Miguel Andujar. Low with the curveball. 1-0. 4-5-6 for the A's this inning. Andujar, the longtime Yankee, then Daz Cameron and Shea Langoliers. 1-0. A little bit low, a fastball a hair below the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. Andujar indirectly played a bit of a role in the Blue Jays in the late 2010s time. 2-0 is roped down the left field line. Fair ball cut off just before the corner by Varsho. Throw coming into second. Andujar chugging for second base. Slides in, and he is safe. Varsho made that a close play, but a double for Andujar to lead off the inning.
Yeah, Varsho did a great job cutting that ball off before it got to the fence. Makes a good throw into Horowitz at second base. But Andujar just slides kind of to the right side of that base and avoids the tag. But again, Dalton Varsho out there in left field has made a ton of those plays this season.
Andujar on second. Cameron coming to the plate, 1 for 1 today. And meeting on the mound going on. I think there's a pitch comm issue. Or actually, no, they're just going to go out. The infielders are going to talk. But on Andujar, he affects the Blue Jays in a way. When he came up in 2018, came up when then Yankee Billy McKinney got hurt. Andujar's kind of a utility infielder, outfielder. He comes up, hits pretty well. Brandon Drury gets hurt, who was the third baseman for the Yankees at that point. Andujar steps in, finishes second in Rookie of the Year voting to Shohei Ohtani that year, as Andujar hit .297 with 27 homers as a rookie. And because he cemented that third base spot over the first half of the year, the Yankees trade Brandon Drury and Billy McKinney to the Blue Jays for Jay Happ. First pitch to Daz Cameron swung on and missed. 0-1. Zach Pop loosening up for the Blue Jays. 2-0 Toronto. Runner on second, nobody out. Bottom of the fourth. Francis looks back at Andujar. One more peek in the pitch. Lifted to shallow center. Horowitz going back. Kiermaier coming in. He'll veer to right center and make the catch. Not deep enough for Andujar to think about advancing. An important first out for Francis.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Andujar at second base is he fell behind 2-0, and he did that so often in the first and second inning. And then we saw in the third inning, when he gets ahead of hitters, he's a different pitcher. He can throw that curveball, he can throw that slider, even that split finger. But when you fall behind 2-0, you have to come with something over the heart of the plate. And he did that to Andujar, and Andujar drilled that baseball into left field.
First pitch to Shea Langoliers, down and away, 1-0.
And again, he falls behind 1-0 to Langoliers.
That was his 40th pitch of the day. Francis, who's holding a splitter grip right now behind his back, comes set just above his belt and looks at second. The righty with the breath and the pitch. Fastball popped up into the seats foul. By the way, exciting thing, Rogers has a new national contest called Bring Stanley Home to send Rogers customers and hockey fans from across Canada to the Stanley Cup Final in Edmonton. Rogers customers have the chance to win 10 VIP trips for two to attend Game 4 in Edmonton on June 15th. Swing and a miss by Langoliers on a breaking ball, 1-2. This prize also includes travel and accommodation plus premium viewing at a game day concert outside Rogers Place. For more information, visit rogers.com/Stanley Cup to enter for your chance to win and see details there. One out, runner on second, 2-0 bottom four. The 1-2 pitch is yanked foul down the left field line. This is tied for the second longest outing of the season for Bowden Francis. No runs allowed yet. He's given up 3 hits and a walk and struck out 2. Here's 1-2. Fastball popped up behind the plate and into the netting.
That was a good job right there from Francis, hitting that spot. Danny Jansen was elevated with that target out of the strike zone, and he hit that target. Langoliers just fouling it back.
We see Kirk do this, but Jansen stood up on that one to really get the glove up there. 1-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a tight slider on the outside edge. 2 down.
Now batting the first baseman, number 21, Tyler Soderstrom.
Don't know for sure, but perhaps this the final inning for Bowden Francis, trying to keep it scoreless. Blue Jays up 2-0. Miguel Andujar on second after a leadoff double. And the pitch to Tyler Soderstrom. No, it's going to be a spin and throw to second. Andujar dives back in safe.
The only way I think that he would come back out is if he gets Tyler Soderstrom and then he can face Aledmus Diaz and Max Schumann, who are 8th and 9th in that batting order. But maybe I'm just thinking too hard about it.
Right on left pitch. Curveball drops in, strike 1. I mean, it's certainly possible. There's the bottom of the order coming up. Blue Jays, though, also have a very rested bullpen. Their bullpen has thrown 1 pitch in this series. The Chad Green pitch in Game 1 that Blade homered on. 0-1. Low 1-1.
Yeah, I think if you have Zach Pop, Nate Pearson, Chad Green, and Jimmy Garcia to finish off this ball game, you go ahead and use those guys.
You have Trevor Richards, too, if you want him.
Trevor Richards. Maybe instead of Nate Pearson, you use Trevor Richards.
Could depend, too, on if the Blue Jays add. They're up 2-0 right now. Francis looking at second, the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Believe Soderstrom actually foul-tipped that splitter slightly, 1-2.
But all of a sudden, Bowden Francis is looking very good.
Yeah, they could keep rolling with him. Depends on how they feel about his pitch count. You know, maybe do they want to, if he gets through this, have him finish the day on a positive note. It's been a tough start to the year. Francis with a breath, kicks and delivers. Check swing bouncer back to the mound, fielded by the righty. He'll flip to first, and that's 4 scoreless innings in the start for Bowden Francis. 2-0, the Blue Jays lead going to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Yamanika Saunders, and you can listen to my new show, Off Topic with Yamanika, on Kevin Hart's LOL Radio, Channel 96. It was important for me to have a platform to express myself. I am a black woman in America, and I come from a very personal and very specific POV and opinion. I want to have a place where people like me can give you another perspective, and then you figure out what you want. Check me out every day, 3 p.m. on the East Coast and noon on the West Coast. Off Topic with Yamanika on Kevin Hart's LOL Radio, Channel 96.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The club season may be over, but now the real fun begins.
Shoot Bellingham! Nicola Morella gives Italy the lead! Kylian Mbappe!
Europe's top nations meet in Germany for the chance to be called European champions.
Ronaldo, brilliant goal! Goal off the post! Spain leads! Toni Kroos has scored!
Euro 2024 kicks off June 14th on Sirius XM FC 157 and Fox Sports 83, or listen anytime on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Fifth inning in Oakland. Blue Jays up 2-0. Bottom third of the order will bat for Toronto. Dalton Varsho, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Kevin Kiermaier against Mitch Spence. Varsho squares to bunt, pulls it back on the first pitch. It's high, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays scored 2 in the second inning, but 7 in a row have been retired by Spence. 1-0 pitch drops in, 1-1. It's worth noting for Spence, he's been pretty good this year as a starter especially. This is 5th start of the year. 1-1. Swinging a fly ball deep center. Going back Blade, turning onto the track. He's got room and makes the catch. 1 out. For Spence, though, as a starter, a 3.32 ERA coming into today's game. We're in the 5th inning, which is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. The pitch to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Hit in the air, left center field. Blade running under it, makes the catch. 2 down.
The center fielder, number 39, Kevin Kiermaier.
Kevin Kiermaier coming up now, the longtime Ray. 2 down, bases empty. 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the 5th. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Baltimore defeated Tampa Bay today to sweep the Rays. 9-2, the final score on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Pitch to Kiermaier, low ball 1. And so that means that at least right now, the Blue Jays have moved into sole possession of 4th place in the American League East after spending a good couple weeks at 5th. 1-0. Swing and a bouncer foul, 1-1. Spence into the wind, the right on left pitch. Down and in, 2-1. I know it's early, Chris, but do you think, jumping over a team does anything for these guys? Seeing yourself a little bit higher in the standings?
I think so, for sure.
2-1 outside, 3 balls, 1 strike.
And I think that if players are telling you that they're not concerned with the standings, they're not worried about the standings, they're not looking at the standings, I think they're lying. I think they know exactly where they stand.
3-1 hit foul, 3-2.
And from a morale perspective, it is a little bit demoralizing to look at the standings and see that you're at the basement or in the basement. So if you can climb out of the basement and slowly climb that ladder, I think it's a confidence thing, and I think it's a great thing.
3-2 fouled off, still 3-2.
But at the same time, this early in the season, and we've talked about this, I think it's too early for us to talk about it and us kind of
to say like, oh, you're 2 back of the wild card or stuff like that.
I think at this point, just win. Just win as many games as possible, and maybe in July and August we can start talking about it.
With 2 down, the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 10 in a row retired by Mitch Spence. At the middle of the 5th, it's 2-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track. Sunday.
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol.
From Iowa Speedway.
Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. In the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' third national title.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@Busted Open Podcast. Subscribe right now.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. Hope your Sunday's going well. Happy you're spending it with us. The Blue Jays are up 2-0 on the Oakland A's. Zach Pop into the game for Toronto to start the bottom of the fifth. And his pitch to Aledmus Diaz is fouled back 0-1. Blue Jays started Bowden Francis, but after 4 innings and about 50 pitches, Francis done with 4 scoreless, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Pops 0-1. Yanked down and away.
The Sportsnet broadcast just showed Bowden Francis in the dugout after Zach Pop had already entered the game, and he looked miserable. But I can guarantee that he is ecstatic with that outing.
He's kind of like he looks the same at all times. Guy, you can't really read his face. Swing and a miss on a 1-1 sinker, and it's 1-2.
That might be, from my perspective, all the times I've seen him, the most impressive game that I've seen from him.
Statistically, his best outing of the year. He's had a couple scoreless outings, but none as long as the 4-inning start he just had. A breath from Pop in the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a sinker in on the hands, 1 down.
And I think the first 2 innings, the first couple of innings from Bowden Francis, he was very erratic with the fastball and the off-speed. He was nibbling a little bit. But that 3rd inning, he just locked in. He found the release point. He started throwing strikes. He started getting ahead of hitters. And after he was doing that, he was a completely different pitcher.
For Zach Pop, by the way, that was a milestone strikeout, his 100th career, as he delivers a first pitch strike to Max Schumann, 0-1.
A lot more to come, too.
For Pop, his 18th appearance of the season, a 4.41 earned run average coming into this one, 9 strikeouts and 4 walks in 16 1/3. 0-1 pitch, bounced foul, 0-2.
I don't look at the numbers and the ERA for Zach Pop. The ERA right now is a little bit elevated. You'd like to see him in the lower 3s or even the mid 3s. But I just look at the arm, the potential. He could be a late inning guy for this Blue Jays bullpen for a long time to come.
0-2. Swing and a miss. Skipping off the mound with back-to-back swinging strikeouts, 2 down. Let's go to the injury report, brought to you by Bergmanish Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanish Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanish Prira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Couple updates from yesterday we didn't get to, with bottom of the 5th going pretty quick yesterday. 2 down, first pitch to Abraham Toro, hit foul, 0-1. Mentioned yesterday, Jordan Romano back in Toronto, and yesterday they had said he'll either throw today or tomorrow. So we'll see It's not thrown off a mound yet for him, but just starting to get tossing again. Yariel Rodriguez will start for Buffalo on Tuesday. 0-1 pitch, waved at and missed. A cutter there from Pop, and it's 0-2 with 2 down and nobody on, bottom of the 5th. And Ricky Tiedemann 2 days ago threw a 2-inning live BP. His next step is some sort of rehab appearance in Florida. Pop looking to strike out the side. 2-0 Blue Jays, bottom 5. The pitch is down and in. Went with the slider and bounced it at the back foot. 1-2.
And you could see Danny Jansen pointing at the ground. Normally he just uses his glove and taps the glove, but he was using his bare hand pointing at the ground. Zach Pop bounced that slider on the inside part of the plate.
Pop struck out his 100th career to start this inning. Got 101 on Schumann. Here's his 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Make it 102 strikeouts in the career of Pop, who strikes out the side, all swinging in the bottom of the 5th. We go to the 6th with Toronto up 2-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care. The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning in Oakland. Blue Jays up 2-0 on the Athletics in the top of the order. Batting for Toronto, Spencer Horwitz leads off. First pitch from Mitch Spence is called strike 1. Spence, the Oakland starter, in his 6th inning of work, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs in the first 2 innings. He's retired 10 in a row since. 0-1. High and outside.
I tell you what, he doesn't throw that sinker very often, but he just threw one and it was nasty.
Moved a ton to the arm side. Everything else is glove side for Spence. 1-1 slider cut on and missed. 1-2. Maybe a find here for the Athletics, who have a lot of starters on the injured list. Spence made the team, was a Rule 5 pickup, so he's got to make the team to keep him. Made the team in the pen, but you had Ross Stripling go down, Alex Wood, Joe Boyle opened up an opportunity. The 1-2. Swinging a foul off to the left. Also Paul Blackburn on the injured list. Another starter for Oakland. The wind in the pitch. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You just don't see that many cutter first starting pitchers. I mean, Corbin Burns throws a ton of cutters. Righties 2-2. Is a slider hit on the ground softly up the middle, picked up by the second baseman Diaz. Throw over to first, 1 out.
But you look at Corbin Burns' cutter, and it's 95, 96. It's a different ball game with Corbin Burns. You look at Mitch Spence. His cutter's 90, 91. Doesn't move a ton. I don't know.
He's finding a way.
I'm not a hitter, but he is definitely finding a way.
One out in the top of the sixth. Here's Danny Jansen 0 for 2. First pitch outside. 1-0. Jansen came up with his 12th multi-hit game of the season yesterday to match his 12 multi-hit games from all of last season. The 1-0. Called strike on his sinker, 1-1. For Jansen, the career high is 15 multi-hit games in 2019. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a fly ball left center. Backing up Bleday, who steps back under it and makes a one-handed catch. 2 outs.
Well, I almost guarantee if Danny Jansen can stay healthy, he's going to blow that number out of the water.
Yeah, he's only played now 37 games this year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about to come up on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Red Sox and White Sox in extra innings. It's been a shockingly back-and-forth series. 6-4 right now, the Red Sox lead, top of the 10th. They're trying to stave off a series loss. First pitch to Vlad. Swing and a bouncing ball headed to the left side. Picked up by Toro. Whizzes it over to first, beats Guerrero, and ends the inning. Make it 13 in a row. Retired by Mitch Spence, but he's got no run support. The Blue Jays up 2-0, middle of the sixth. Nate Pearson to enter next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fuel your journey with the most irresistible summer driving jams and sing-alongs ever made. Ranked by you. The 2024 Top 66 Road Trippin' Songs of All Time. On Road Trip Radio, channel 301 on most radios. Or listen now on the SiriusXM app. Just search Top 66.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol.
from Iowa Speedway. On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays up 2-0, 2-3-4 in the A's order, and Nate Pearson is on for Toronto. He'll face the left-handed hitting J.J. Bleday wide open in his batting stance. First pitch from the righty is hit down the right field line, foul, 0-1. 25 appearances this year for Pearson, a 4.44 ERA. He's struck out 29 in 24 and a third innings. He's walked 11. 0-1. Curveball misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we've really seen him lean or start to lean on that slider, that curveball. But he's still got that good fastball, 96, 99. He'll even mix in 101 once in a while.
1-1 heater is bounced up the middle at Bichette. The shortstop position behind the bag, throws sidearm to first and beats Bleday. 1 down. If you weren't with us earlier, Rogers has announced an exciting new national contest. Bring Stanley home to send Rogers customers and hockey fans from across Canada to the Stanley Cup final in Edmonton. Rogers customers have the chance to win 10 VIP trips for 2 to attend Game 4 in Edmonton on Saturday, June 15th. Brent Rooker to the plate. 1 out, bases empty. 2-0 Blue Jays. The pitch is jacked to left field. Marshall going back. He looks up. See you later. Brent Rooker with a solo home run, caught a hanging slider, and the A's cut the deficit in half. It's now 2-1 Toronto.
Yeah, I think Nate Pearson was trying to steal a quick strike there with a slider right down the middle, and Brent Rooker, the A's best hitter right now, didn't miss it. Drills that thing into the bleachers in left center. That is a pretty swing right there from Brent Rooker.
436 feet for Rooker on his team-leading 13th of the year. That one did not sneak out at a pretty big ballpark. First run today for the A's, and now the pitch to Andujar is fouled back 0-1. Just to wrap up on Bring Stanley Home, the prize you go, 10 chances to go 10 Game 4 on June 15th. It also includes travel and accommodation, plus premium viewing at a game day concert outside Rogers Place. Visit Rogers.com/Stanley Cup to enter for your chance to win and for more details. 0-1. Hit off the handle, rolling down the right field line past the dive of Guerrero for a base hit. Springer cuts it off. It'll be a single for Andujar, who's 2 for 3.
Well, Andujar just inside outs that ball past Vlad at first base, and that was a backup slider. That's the thing about falling in love with your off-speed pitches. You don't want to fall in love with them. You don't want to throw them 75, 80% of the time, because then hitters start to expect the off-speed pitch, and they can sit back and wait on it, but you still want to mix in a fastball, especially on the inside part of the plate.
First pitch to Daz Cameron is an inside fastball. Popped up back of first. Guerrero onto the right field grass. Moves to his left and makes the catch. 2 down.
Boy, he's still fighting that sun, isn't he?
Looks a little better now. The sun a little lower, but there was some twisting and some turning, and Horwitz got over there just to be sure. I mean, that's a play where if the ball drops, Andujar's caught dead. He was on first base and you throw to second, but you still don't want to drop the ball.
I would much rather catch that baseball.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm pitching. Please catch that baseball.
2 down, runner on first. 2-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 6th. The pitch to Shea Langoliers. Slider outside, 1-0. Voting's open to get your Blue Jays to the 2024 All-Star Game in Texas. Show your support and vote the Blue Jays 5 times per day from now until June 27th if you go to bluejays.com/vote to cast your ballot now. 1-0. Hugh shot to the right side, foul, rolling past the Blue Jays dugout and toward the bullpen where Trevor Richards, the righty, is warming up for Toronto.
How about Kevin Gausman?
I mean, he turned a 4.6 ERA into a 4 ERA yesterday pretty quickly. You give him a couple more starts. 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2.
I think we were discussing who we would vote for maybe a couple games ago, and Kevin Gausman wasn't set at all.
I mean, it's been an up and down year. The 2-time All-Star is a great pitcher. But you got Jose Barrios with the lowest earned run average in the Blue Jays rotation right now. 1-2 slider, froze him, strike 3. Pearson gets Langoliers to end the inning, but the A's are on the board. 1 run on 2 hits. Brent Rooker's solo home run makes it 2-1 Toronto after 6. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Jordan Romano, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top 7 in a close one at Oakland Coliseum. Blue Jays up 2-1 on the A's. Looking to wrap up a series when they dropped the opener 2-1 in heartbreaking fashion, but are leading here. Mitch Spence, the starter for the A's, will make his longest start of the season as he throws the first pitch to Bo Bichette. Pitch is low, 1-0. Next offering to Bichette, misses downstairs again. 2 balls and no strikes. They just had a race of A's legends. I believe Ricky Henderson won. I mean, he is a lot faster than...
Well, I think he's faster than Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah, and Dennis Eckersley. 2-0. Bichette lifts it high in the air. Foul, third base side. Langelier's giving it chase. So is Toro. It bounces off the top of the A's dugout. So that'll be a foul ball, 2-1.
Which one do you like better? Do you like that one with the A's legends, or do you like the President's Race in Washington?
I love the President's Race. The President's Race, and coming up when the Blue Jays go to Milwaukee, the Sausage Race. To me, that's about as good as it gets.
The Pierogi Race in Pittsburgh, that's pretty fun.
It is good. 2-1. Bounce foul to the left.
If the Jays were to adopt that, what do you think they would have?
It's a good question. I don't know.
The Prime Minister Race.
They could do a Prime Minister race. They're kind of stealing it, though. I think the Ottawa Senators should do like a Prime Minister race. 2-2. Fouled off to the right. I don't know. Text Joe Ali at 590-590. What do you think it would do? He'll if there's anything funny, he'll give us the answers.
I love that you were genuinely trying to think of something.
I really am. I don't know what to do. Two-two pitch to Bichette. Inside, ball 3. Bo trying to be the first Blue Jay to reach since Isaiah Kiner-Falefa singled in the second inning and gave the Blue Jays then a 2-0 lead. It's 2-1 Toronto, top of the 7th. Spence, the righty, into the wind, and here's his 85th pitch of the day. Swing and a liner, center field, hangs up for Bleday, 1 down.
And Spence is very quietly had a great ball game. 6 1/3 so far, 5 hits, just 2 earned runs, no walks.
It's been a big part of it. The Blue Jays earned their fair share of walks over the last 2 days, but he's barely even pitched into 3-ball counts today. That one to Bichette, only the 3rd 3-ball count, or make it the 4th, pardon me, that Spence has had against the Blue Jays. Here's the pitch to Justin Turner. Called strike 1. Over on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, a final on the south side of Chicago. The Red Sox beat the White Sox 6-4 to split that 4-game set. 0-1 pitch, called strike 0-2. White Sox were up 4-3 top of the 9th, tantalizingly close to a series win, a 3 out of 4. But former Blue Jay and former White Sox, Reese McGuire, came up with a sac fly to tie it in the 9th before Boston took the lead in the 10th.
So looking at that wild card race that I don't want to talk about.
Boston does stay in front of the Blue Jays regardless of results today. They're the team in between Toronto and Minnesota who holds that 3rd spot. Also Detroit, who won today 10-2 on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard over Milwaukee. 0-2. Swinging a liner, right side, diving catch at first by Soderstrom. 2 down, and the Blue Jays are fighting for a base runner, but Soderstrom takes a hit away.
Yeah, that was a great play by a guy that is first to catcher, second to first baseman. Justin Turner just all kinds of disappointed, looking at the ground, walking back to that dugout. He got the barrel to that baseball, though.
It's been quietly starting to get things going here in June. Here's George Springer, who's 1 for 2. The pitch. Chop to the 3rd base side, charging in Toro. Has to make a quick transfer, throws to first, beats Springer, and ends the inning. What a day it's been for Spence. He's retired 13 batters in a row, and the Blue Jays are up 2-1 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
So Blue Jays fans, you want to know about salsa? Salsa is more than dancing. It's more than music. Salsa is the passion and spirit that is at the core of the beautiful cultures of Latin America. The Blue Jays are bringing salsa to the ballpark on June 27th. Be one of the first 15,000 fans in attendance and receive a Blue Jays chip and dip bowl. Celebrate salsa and create core memories with your Blue Jays. It's salsa night. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Right, Vladdy?
Everybody salsa. Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Ontario is helping you keep more of what's yours. We cut the gas tax and scrap the license plate sticker fee and drive clean program for most vehicles, saving drivers across the province hundreds of dollars each and every year. Learn more about how you're saving more at ontario.ca/keeping costs down. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Roddy rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Blue Jays holding on to a slim lead. 2-1 is the score over the Oakland Athletics at Oakland Coliseum. Trevor Richards takes them out. His first pitch of the inning freezes Tyler Soderstrom for a called strike on a changeup. 0-1. Hope you've had a good Sunday. Happy you're spending it with us. The Blue Jays up 2-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 0-1 change is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good year so far for Trevor Richards. ERA just a hair below 3. Righty kicks and delivers. Check swing on a changeup in the dirt. 2-1.
And if you're John Schneider, this is really all you can ask for. You get to your high leverage guys with a lead. You look at Bowden Francis, Nate Pearson, Zach Pop. Those guys held this lead. The bridge guys, they're so important.
Richards spiking a fastball 94, which is about as hard as you're going to see from him. But he's fallen behind 3 balls and 1 strike.
Now you have Trevor Richards, you have Chad Green, and of course you have Jimmy Garcia, hopefully to end this ball game.
3-1. Outside ball 4, a leadoff walk for Richards, who's making his 27th appearance of the year. He's pitched just over 30 innings, struck out 30, and now walked 14.
Well, of course, this is not what you want to have happen. A guy walking a guy that's hitting 196, number 7 in this order for the Oakland Athletics.
Aledmus Diaz bats now. 0 for 2 today. Here's the pitch. Bunt shown, pulled back, called strike 1. Diaz traded from the St. Louis Cardinals to the Blue Jays for minor leaguer J.B. Woodman ahead of 2018. Had a career-high 18 home runs in 130 games as the Blue Jays shortstop that year. 0-1 pitch is slapped to left field, a base hit. Up to second, Soderstrom. Diaz at first, and 2 on with nobody out for the A's.
And if I'm the Toronto Blue Jays, I can expect a sac bunt right here, especially with runners on first and second, nobody out. A big opportunity for the A's to get 2 runs here.
Max Schumann is the scheduled hitter, the 9-hitter for Oakland. Danny Jansen talking to Trevor Richards. While the Blue Jays, like you said, have to be happy with what they've got on the pitching side, they've done very little with the bats so far today. 5 hits and 2 runs in the first 2 innings. They haven't put a base runner on since there was 1 out in the top of the second.
Yeah, I would say a little bit disappointing on the offensive side, but Mitch Spence has pitched well. He's made good pitches when he's had to. And I think the Blue Jays have gotten a little bit unlucky. Hit a couple balls hard, and But overall, just a disappointing day on the offensive side.
Schumann shows bunt on the first pitch, puts it down to third, picked up by IKF, throw to first in time. Horwitz was covering. It's a good sacrifice and a good play by IKF. But now the tying run on third and the go-ahead run on second with one out. Bottom of the seventh.
Well, now the biggest thing for Trevor Richards, especially with an open base at first base, is you want to try to strike this guy out. You get strike one, and then you can elevate. You can bury something. We've seen Abraham Toro swing at those off-speed pitches, specifically the split finger, those pitches that are going away from his bat.
First pitch. Swing and a foul off to the left. 0-1.
And now that you're ahead in the count, you really want to expand.
Blue Jays infield is in. Second and third. 2-1 Toronto. One out, bottom of the seventh. Toro has struck out twice today. Both on pitches breaking away from him by right-handed pitchers. Richards, the righty, kicks and fires. Changeup cut on and missed. 0-2.
That's exactly the pitch that you want to throw right there. Something down out of the strike zone, and he just whiffs at it.
Double barrel action for the Blue Jays. Tim Meza and Chad Green both warming up down the right field line. The 0-2. Changeup is hit in the air, shallow center. Kiermaier coming in. It's down for a base hit. Picked up by Bichette. Soderstrom scores around third, and coming in Diaz. An absolute bloop of all bloops, way off the end of the bat. Gives the A's a 3-2 lead.
Well, in that situation, you're ahead in the count 0-2. You want to throw something that is unhittable. You want to throw something elevated that if he does make contact with it, the only thing he can do is pop it up. And then you want to bury something. That pitch right there was neither. That was about thigh high, maybe 5 or 6 inches off the plate. Gives Abraham Toro a chance to make contact. Yes, it was a bloop single, but you gave him a chance right there to make contact. That's not something that you should be doing in that situation.
And the lack of runs for the Blue Jays, too, comes back to bite them here as they now trail for the first time today. They're down 3-2. Toro advanced to second on the throw to the plate. So still the A's threatening with one out in the bottom of the seventh. J.J. Bleday is up. A look at second. One more peek from Richards and the pitch. Change up low, 1-0. For Toro, the Canadian, his 22nd and 23rd RBIs of the season. Next pitch is hit in the air, right center field. Kiermaier circling under it, comes into it as he makes the catch. Toro will deke in advance and go back to the bag. 2 down. Blue Jays pitching got off to a very good start today. Bowden Francis, 4 scoreless. Zach Pop struck out the side in the 5th. Nate Pearson came on for the 6th, and Brent Rooker started the scoring with a home run. Now 2 this inning, and Oakland is up 3-2. John Schneider is going to go to his bullpen. Trevor Richards is done with 2 down and a runner on second. Chad Green coming in to face Brent Rooker. Let's go back to baseball control with today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. You heard about this one earlier. The London series wrapping up today in England in Major League Baseball. Phillies-Mets, quite the finish. Mets up 6-5. Nick Castellanos batting for the Phillies, bottom of the 9th. The bases loaded. Here's Darren Fletcher with the call from TNT Sports.
With the pressure on his shoulders, and Castellanos' bat explodes, and they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end! The shattered bat, the runner out at home plate, and the ball fired into the glove of the first baseman Pete Alonso, and the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win game 2 in London 6-5. 17 hits. What drama! What a game! What a finish!
That's a great call, I think, from Darren Fletcher, an English baseball broadcaster on the call of that one. Pretty cool. Like he said, Mets do win 6-5 over the Phillies. Elsewhere, Team Canada's men's national soccer team wrapping up a friendly against France. A 0-0 draw for Canada against France. These friendlies are the lead up to the Copa America tournament, which starts on the 17th. So friendly or not, pretty impressive outing for Canada against one of the best teams in the world. Canada will take on Argentina next for Game 1 of group play at the Copa America tournament itself. That game will be on June 20th. And the Canadian Grand Prix wrapping up in Montreal today. Max Verstappen taking his 5th podium of the season on a rainy day in Montreal. He becomes the 3rd driver to three-peat at the Canadian Grand Prix, joining Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Chad Green on the mound. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. 2 runs for the A's this inning. They've taken the lead. 3-2 Oakland, bottom of the 7th in this rubber match. Chad Green is on. Brent Rooker at the plate. Toro on second, and the pitch. Fastball right down the middle, strike 1. Rooker started the scoring for the A's, a 436-foot blast in the 6th. A walk by Soderstrom to lead off the 7th, a single by Diaz, and after a sacrifice bunt, Toro looped a single in to knock in 2. Next pitch from Green, cut on and missed. He's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Green nods, peeks at second, the 0-2. Fastball hit foul to the right.
I don't dislike the move having Trevor Richards in that ball game. He's a 7th inning guy. He should be the 7th inning guy. But you can't walk the leadoff hitter in an inning, especially ahead by 1 run. You cannot put the tying run on with nobody out.
It was 7, 8, 9, and both 7 and 8 reached. 0-2 slider down and away from Green, 1-2. Then the top of the order burned the Blue Jays. Abraham Toro, who has hits in all 3 games in this series. Toro on second, being held on by the second baseman Spencer Horwitz. The pitch. High with a fastball. Too high for Rooker to want to offer. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that fastball I think was over his head. Down the middle, but over his head, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, not when he stands up tall, but in his stance, it was way high. Here's the 2-2. Fastball bounced to third. Fair ball fielded by IKF deep. Rooker didn't start running, so the throw over to first easily gets him to end the inning. A's take the lead. 2 runs on a hit. It's Abraham Toro's bloop single that puts Oakland in front. 3-2. We're going to the 8th. Blue Jays looking for offense. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tonight, it's Game 2 of the NBA Finals.
The Celtics lead the NBA Finals 1-0.
Can the Mavericks tie the series before it shifts to Dallas? Or will Jason Tatum and the Celtics take a commanding 2-0 series lead?
2 years ago, we won the first game and, the outcome of that series. So we still have a lot of work to do.
Game 2, Mavericks-Celtics. Tonight at 8 Eastern. With live coverage and exclusive interviews from Boston starting at 6. Only on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Get the latest news from OTAs to minicamps, all the way through training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 3-2 A's, top of the 8th. Dalton Varsho leads off against the lefty reliever Scott Alexander, who starts him off with strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays had led since the second inning until the 2-run single in the bottom of the 7th by Abraham Toro. 0-1 to Varsho. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Toronto, though, without a base runner since taking that 2-0 lead on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's 2-run single with 1 out. 5 hits today for the Blue Jays, no walks. 0-2. Outside.
This is a tough AB for Dalton Varsho. Alexander has only given up 1 earned run, only 2 hits in his last 7 games.
Lefty reliever pitched to scoreless inning in the opener of this series. 1-2. Outside again, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lefty throws a low 90s sinker. A couple times in a row there, just flipped in his low 80s slider, and if he's facing a right-handed hitter, we'll throw a changeup. 2-2. Swing and a liner, right field, down for a base hit. Cut off before the track by Cameron. It's a single for Varsho, a big one for the Blue Jays. Their first base runner since the second.
The third baseman.
Well, yeah, I think Alexander made a mistake right there. Langoliers was set up on the outside part of the plate. Actually, he hit his target. That was a fastball on the outside part of the plate, exactly where he was trying to go. And Dalton Varsho just does a good job getting the barrel to that baseball.
Here's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa on a 10-game road hit streak. The pitch. Shows bunt, pushes it to the first base side. Picked up by Alexander, underhand flip to first. And there's 1 out. Varsho moves up to second on the successful sacrifice by IKF. A's used the sacrifice in the bottom of the 7th. Now the Blue Jays will try and equal that, and they're going to pinch hit. Instead of a left-on-left matchup, Kevin Kiermaier's out of the game. Here comes Davis Schneider to the plate.
I'll tell you why. The only reason I don't love that sack bunt right there, you take the bat out of the hands of somebody who's very good with the baseball or with the bat. He can hit those holes on the right side of the infield. You let him, maybe a hit and run, something like that. But to have a guy sacrifice bunt that's so good using that bat is just, I don't love that move. If it was Kevin Kiermaier, yes, sack bunt all day long, but not with IKF.
Langoliers meeting with Alexander on the mound right now, and Davis Schneider steps in. 30 RBIs on the year, second to Varsho for the team lead. Varsho on second, the pitch. Varsho takes off for third, pitch outside, throw to third, not in time. Varsho stumbles over the bag but keeps his right foot on. A huge stolen base with 1 out. Varsho's 90 feet away from tying up the game.
I love the aggressiveness right there. Varsho was standing out at second base like he wasn't going anywhere, kind of lulling the A's to sleep, and then he takes off, big jump, sliding into third base, feet first. That is a great high IQ play right there.
7th of the year for Varsho. A's infield in. 3-2 Oakland, 1 out, top of the 8th. A fly ball ties the game. 1-0 pitch is hit in the air, right center field and deep. Cameron going back to the track, makes the catch. Varsho tags, comes in to score, and Schneider comes through with a game-tying sacrifice fly. It's 3-3, top of the 8th.
Well, that was a big sac fly from Davis Schneider, and like we talked about moments earlier, an even bigger stolen base. Dalton Varsho, such a smart player. It just changes the game when you have guys out on the bases that can steal bags.
You have been asking for the small ball, Chris. It doesn't get a lot more small ball than a sac bunt and a stolen base.
Well, I
know you didn't love
it there. Agree. I didn't love the fact that IKF was the guy that had to bunt there, but
they did manufacture.
They manufactured that run, and I guess I have to love that.
48, Spencer Horwitz.
A bit of confusion here on who was going to hit for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are going to get a pitch clock violation. I think that they were potentially going to pinch hit if the runner was still on base, but now with 2 outs and nobody on, are sending Spencer Horwitz up to the plate. He's going to start down in the count, 0-1.
Left on left, starting the count 0-1. That's tough.
Horwitz today 1 for 3. Alexander kicks and delivers, and Horwitz takes a strike, and now it's 0-2. 3-3 ball game, top of the 8th. Oh-2 pitch. In the dirt, Horwitz started to swing but lays off. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I actually don't dislike this matchup right here. Left on left, Spencer Horwitz very good at going the other way.
He's one of the better on-base guys you're going to have on the team. was leading the International League in on-base percentage. He'll ask for time. It's granted by home plate ump Brian Knight. Quickly steps back in the box. Alexander, the lefty, looks to the plate to pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit up the middle. Sliding stop at short. Schumann gets up, throws to first, got him. And that will do it for the top of the 8th. The Blue Jays get 1 run on 1 hit. Varsho singles, bunted to second, steals third, and Davis Schneider with a pinch hit sac fly to tie the game. 3-3 middle 8. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Tie score, bottom of the 8th. It's 3-3, and Chad Green's first pitch to Miguel Andujar called strike 1. Ace took the lead in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays tied it up with a Davis Schneider sac fly in the 8th. And now Green trying to keep it there. He delivers a strike to Andujar, his former Yankee teammate, with a fastball to make it 0-2. Both bullpens are up and throwing right now as well. You have Tim Mesa warming up for the Blue Jays as the 0-2 slider misses, 1-2. You have the hard-throwing closer Mason Miller warming up for the Athletics, who throws the hardest four-seamer in all of baseball. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got Andujar to chase the high heater. And there's 1 out.
Well, that fastball was nowhere near the strike zone, but Andujar swings at it wildly, way out of the strike zone.
Number 15, Seth Brown.
So 1 down. And pinch hitting for Daz Cameron will be the left-handed hitter, Seth Brown. Brown started yesterday, went 1 for 4, coming off the bench with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th and the base is empty. 3-3 score. And the pitch. Called strike 1. This season, Brown hitting .191, 5 homers. Green from the first base side of the rubber delivers an 0-1 heater on the outside edge, 0-2. Brown will ask for time and step to the edge of the dirt circle. Kicks his barrel with both feet and steps back into the lefty box. Drags the bat across the plate, lifts it above his left shoulder. The 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 95 down the middle. Green beats him. Back-to-back Ks, and there are 2 down.
Well, Seth Green was definitely expecting something off speed there, but Green throws that fastball right by him at 95 miles an hour. I tell you what, he's starting to get that old stuff back. A lot of life on that fastball today.
Green threw the one pitch in Game 1, gave up the walk-off homer, but 3 outs already recorded in this one. His pitch to Shea Langoliers, called strike 1. Langoliers is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today and a pop-up in foul territory. He has really gone through it recently. 6 for his last 48. 0-1. Down and away.
96 right there from Green. Haven't seen one of those in a little bit.
The right-hander tucks the ball into his glove, sets at his chest. The kick and offering. Fastball hit on the ground to second, picked up by Horwitz. He'll throw over to first and end the inning. Very tidy from Chad Green. A 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. And we go to the 9th tied in this rubber match. 3-3 is the score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Country music's biggest stars.
Hey, it's Jelly Roll.
I'm Thomas Shred.
And I'm Lainey Wilson.
And biggest fans.
Oh, man, country music, can you beat this live?
Converge on downtown Nashville. It's CMA Fest Week.
Oh, my.
With exclusive live interviews, performances, and more.
What happens at CMA Fest stays at CMA Fest. But we're going to have a damn good time. Amen.
CMA Fest Week on the highway all weekend.
SiriusXM Channel 56 and the SiriusXM app.
Basketball history is made in the NBA Finals.
Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Where superstars become icons. And one moment can change the course of basketball history.
Back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
We're bringing you inside the 2024 Finals on NBA Radio with nonstop coverage from our experts and every second of every game.
That is one of the more dominant first halves that we've ever seen in Finals history.
NBA Radio, Channel 86, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
9th inning in the Bay Area. The Blue Jays and A's playing at Oakland Coliseum for the final time in this historic rivalry, and it's a good one today. 3-3 is the score. The flamethrower, Mason Miller, on the mound for the A's with his 100-plus mile-per-hour fastball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jansen, Guerrero, and Bichette hit this inning for the Blue Jays. Miller into the wind, his pitch to Jansen. 101 on the inside edge. Strike 1.
Well, that pitch right there is unhittable, unless you're guessing. And even then, it's probably pretty tough.
Miller is one of the best in the majors. The 0-1. Slider just outside.
And to put things in perspective, he has 54 strikeouts in 28 2/3 innings.
It has been a crazy year for a first-year closer, second-year major leaguer. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up behind the plate. That gets back into the stands. 1-2.
It's one thing to have to average 17 per 9 strikeouts, but it's another thing to do it in the big leagues. High school, sure. College, maybe. The big leagues? Come on.
Strikes out 50% of the batters he faces. 1-2. Up and in at 102 near the hands of Jansen. He moves out of the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's not exactly the guy you string together hits against. 12 for 13 in save opportunities. This isn't a save opportunity. 2-2 is hit up the middle and gloved by Diaz on the ground. He throws over to first and gets Jansen by a step. 1 down. Slider went off the end of the bat, looked a little bit harder on contact than it ended up being. And there's 1 out. Here comes Vlad.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. It's really tough to string together a few hits against Mason Miller. Sure, maybe 2. Probably not 3, so I would imagine that Vlad right here is just going for a big fly.
Last time Miller gave up a run was 2 appearances ago on the 5th against Seattle. It was a solo homer. Pitch to Guerrero. Fastball at 101 right down the middle. Blue Jays scored 2 in the second and 1 last inning. Dalton Varsho came in on the Davis Schneider sac fly. 0-1. 1-0-2 just outside, 1-1.
Mason Miller is pounding the strike zone. A fastball right down the middle.
That last one could have been called a strike.
And then one that looked like a strike outside. Vlad was shaking his head, but he's probably pretty happy that that was called a ball.
1-1 heaters, swing and a miss. That was 102 middle in. Hard to blame Guerrero on being late on it, though. It's 102 miles an hour.
I would pay good money to see this matchup right here. That was a big swing. You know exactly what he's trying to do.
Miller into the wind. 1-2. Slider is rolled over to third, foul. Could see Langoliers move down and away at the last second there. The catcher setting up for that slider off the plate. Maybe just caught a little bit of the plate, and Guerrero covered it to stay alive. Miller pitched in the opener of this series, struck out Vlad and Bo, got Springer to ground out, and picked up the win when the A's walked it off in the bottom of the ninth. Pitching in a tie game again. The 1-2. Called strike 3. Slider just clips the outside edge. Guerrero saying that's outside, shaking his head, but he goes down and there are 2 outs in the top of the ninth.
Well, that was a strike, but Vlad didn't like the call. He started waving his finger, and you better be careful if you start showing up an umpire like that. You better be happy that he didn't get thrown out of this ball game.
And that just marginally clipped the zone in terms of what the strike box said, but it was a strike. Here's the pitch to Bo Bichette. Swing and a miss on his slider. 0-1.
And you could probably guess what Bo's trying to do as well with that swing.
4 homers on the year for Bichette. Hit 20 last year in 135 games. With 2 down, the 0-1. Slider hit foul to the right. 0-2. Now you're in a world of trouble. Miller's thrown 2 sliders out of the zone. He's ahead 0-2, and he still hasn't unleashed one of those 100-plus fastballs. Righty with a breath. Brings his glove up to his face. The wind in the 0-2. Slider is popped up. Third base side foul. Toro calling for it. Makes the catch running in. And ends the inning. Miller retires the Blue Jays 1-2-3. The A's look for a second walk-off win of the series. 3-3 game. Bottom of the ninth. Jimmy Garcia on next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control. Jays and A's tied at 3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning in Oakland. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. I will have a solo edition of the postgame show. I'll throw all the numbers for you to call after the final out. 590-590, meanwhile, is where you can text me. The People's text line is always open. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays, A's tied at 3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at the Coliseum in Oakland, California. Here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, show. Bottom of the ninth, 3-3 game. Like you said, Jimmy Garcia on the mound for the Blue Jays. 25th appearance of the year, a 2.16 ERA in 25 innings. 7-8-9 in the A's order. First pitch to Tyler Soderstrom's a breaking ball low, 1-0. Soderstrom with a hit and a walk today. His walk started the 2-run 7th for the A's. That at that point in time gave Oakland the lead. Blue Jays would tie it up in the 8th. 1-0. Is hit foul off to the right, a high changeup. 1-1. Hayes walked off the Blue Jays in game 1 of this series. J.J. Bleday hit a home run. 1-1. Outside with another changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. That was against Chad Green. Jimmy Garcia pitching for the first time in this series. Last time he pitched was in the finale against the Orioles. Gave up 2 runs but got a save. 2-1 offering. Cut on and missed. High fastball. It's 2-2. Soderstrom asks for time. Takes a step out of the box. Lefty hitter back in. Points his bat toward the sky. Garcia looking at him. Twists and deals. Fastball hit off to the left. 98 from the righty. But that one's foul. Aledmus Diaz and Max Schumann are scheduled to hit. After Soderstrom, 2-2 is hit well left field. Varsho or make it Schneider going back at the wall, reaches out and makes the catch. Late adjustment from Schneider, who was going straight back, turned and stabbed it to his left. Soderstrom thought he was getting an ice bucket shower. He was skipping out of the box, but now he'll take the long jog back to the dugout. 1 down.
Yeah, Schneider got spun around out there, but makes a good catch up against the wall. But you're right, Soderstrom takes a couple skips after he makes contact with that baseball. Thought he got it, but not really that close.
First pitch to Aledmus Diaz, inside, ball 1. Caught on the track by Schneider, but with the high walls in Oakland, you would have needed 15 more feet probably out of that baseball. 1 down, bases empty. Still dangerous contact from the A's. 1-0 to Diaz. High, 2-0. Aledmus Diaz, the former Blue Jay, played a pretty big role in that 2-run 7th as well. He singled after the Soderstrom walk and came around to score as the go-ahead run at that point. Garcia's 2-0 pitch. Check swing, tapper foul, and that's a break for the Blue Jays. That pitch was landing inside, and it would have been 3-0. Instead, it's 2-1. Diaz chuckling a little bit there with Danny Jansen. He would have known Jansen in his rookie year. Jansen came up in 2018. 2-1. Freezes Diaz on a middle sweeper. And it's 2-2.
Good pitch right there. That was an awkward take from Diaz, thinking that thing is a fastball, but that was a good slider right there from Garcia.
2-2. Lifted to left and shallow. Schneider moving to left center field. Reaches out, makes the catch. Still battling some sun. But 2 catches for Davis. Schneider out and left, a substitute today for the Blue Jays. And they're 2 down.
Well, he definitely didn't catch that cleanly. He's battling that sun out there in left field, but most important thing is he gets the ball and it's an out.
So 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. 2 flyouts to left. Garcia palming up a ball, slips on his black glove once again, and tucks the ball in before he faces Max Schumann, the 9-hitter. First pitch. Fastball in there. Strike 1. Some let's go Oakland chants from the Athletics fans. 2 down and the bases empty, bottom 9. 3-3 game. The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Schumann steps out of the box for a moment, walks back in, taps the plate, and pinwheels the bat once. A half swing, and he's ready to go. 1-1 pitch. Just low, maybe by a fraction of an inch. 2-1. A's have Austin Adams, the righty, getting loose if this one goes to extras. Schumann trying to end it right now. Garcia kicks and delivers. Schumann swings, fouls it off to the left. A sharp ground ball near the left field bullpen where Adams is getting loose. 2-2. You don't want to look too far ahead, but if that means Mason Miller wouldn't come out next inning, that's phenomenal news from a Blue Jays perspective.
I was just thinking that. That is a great sign out there in that bullpen.
Miller's gone 6 up, 6 down this series with 4 strikeouts. 2-2 from Garcia. Misses down and away. Full count with 2 outs. You don't want to walk Schumann because then Canadian Abraham Toro in the top of the order come up. Fans getting loud in Oakland. So many great games played between the Blue Jays and the A's at this venue. Garcia kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Let's play more baseball in Oakland. We're headed to the 10th in a 3-3 game after a 1-2-3 ninth by Garcia. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control. Jays and A's tied at 3 as we head to the top of the 10th inning in Oakland. Extras out west. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Celtics looking for a 2-0 series lead in Game 2 of the NBA Finals against the Mavericks. Tip-off goes 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. Luka Doncic is questionable to play tonight for Dallas. He has a thoracic contusion and will likely be a game-time decision. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays and A's tied at 3 as we head to the top of the 10th inning in Oakland. Austin Adams on the mound. Bo Bichette, the Blue Jays ghost runner. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Like you said, Bichette on second. Justin Turner leads off for the Blue Jays in this 3-3 game. Turner doubled to spark the 2-run inning in the second. He's 1 for 3 today. Adams, the bearded righty, delivers home and misses inside, nearly hit Turner. 1-0. For Austin Adams, his 31st appearance of the year, and ERA a hair below 3. Looking at Bichette, the pitch home. High ball 2. Blue Jays got to Adams 2 nights ago when they lost 2-1 to the A's. The only run they scored was off of Austin Adams. It was a Guerrero double and then a Bichette RBI single. Righty twists and deals. High ball 3. Not many close pitches here to Justin Turner so far.
No, that last pitch was nowhere near the strike zone, almost at the head of Justin Turner.
Adams paying a lot of attention to Bichette on second. Long look right now. And the 3-0. High ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Justin Turner to start the top of the 10th.
Now batting at number 4, George Springer.
Here's George Springer, a guy who's played almost 120 games in Oakland. More experienced against the Athletics than anyone on this roster. And Turner's going to get pinch run for. Ernie Clement comes in to run for Justin Turner.
Number 28, Ernie Clement.
First and second, nobody out. Bichette on second, Clement on first. And the pitch to Springer. Check swing, pitch was outside. Appeal down to first, no swing. So it's 1-0.
Austin Adams has thrown 5 straight balls. You can expect something, or at least he's going to try to throw something over the heart of the plate here.
Springer standing up tall, the 1-0. Swing and a pop-up right side foul. Soderstrom, the first baseman, sprinting over. That'll bounce off the top of the Blue Jays dugout. It's 1-1.
There is so much foul territory here.
Really a ton.
That whole play right there kind of put it into perspective.
And that ball is way into the seats in Toronto. It's not even close. The 1-1. Swing and a hard hit ball left field right at Miguel Andujar. The runners can't go anywhere as Andujar catches the liner. 1 out. Springer tagged that ball, but to the wrong spot.
Yeah, that's a tough break for George Springer for the Jays. That was a fastball right down the middle, and he hit that thing right on the screws, right at Miguel Andujar in left field.
So 1 out for Toronto. Runners on first and second, still 3-3, top of the 10th. And here's Dalton Varsho. Big reason the Blue Jays are even in extras. First pitch. Inside, and it hit him on the knee. Adams, who leads the American League in hit batters, hits his 8th of the year. And the bases are loaded. Varsho is okay. He pops up and runs to first. He was hit there by the 86-mile-an-hour slider.
Well, as soon as that play unfolded, Adams looked at the ground and started screaming at the ground, obviously upset with himself. Probably one of the last things you want to do right there other than give up a base hit.
And actually, luckily for Varsho, it got him below the knee, kind of just on the right calf, or almost the side of his leg. Bases loaded. Here's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with 1 out the pitch. It's high ball 1. Adams has thrown 1 strike so far in this inning in 9 pitches. Or really 2 with the contact by Springer. 1-0. Called strike there, 1-1.
Well, if there's a guy I want up in this situation, it's probably IKF.
2 RBIs today to go to 23 on the year. The 1-1. Inside, 2-1. Bichette on third, the ghost runner. Clement on second, a pinch runner, and Varsho on first. With 1 down, the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a smash. Left center field. Over the head of the outfielders and down on the track. Bichette scores. Clement scores. Varsho around third. Throw to the plate late. It's a bases clearing double for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. The Blue Jays up 6-3 on a 5 RBI day by IKF.
And like he's done so many times this season, coming up with the big hit. But before that, he took a couple of tough pitches, a couple of tough sliders from Adams, and then he gets the mistake, a slider right down the middle, and he drills it into the gap in left center.
The biggest hit, other than maybe the walk-off for IKF this year. And there's still only 1 out as Davis Schneider takes strike 1. For Kiner-Falefa, his 7th double of the year. And he's now up to 26 RBIs. He's getting close to the team lead. Next pitch to Schneider. Huge rip and a miss. 0-2.
That was a big swing right there at that fastball. It was a home run swing.
Schneider hit the sac fly in the 8th to tie it at 3-3. Blue Jays up 6-3 in the 10th. A look at second in the 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Austin Adams in the set, glove at his chin, the pitch. Way outside, 2-2, and the whole inning, the lack of command has plagued the right-hander. Started the inning ominously with a walk on 4 pitches to Justin Turner. Got George Springer to line out, although it was hard contact. Hit Dalton Varsho, and then a 3-run double by IKF, 2-2. Schneider pops it up right side, foul territory. Soderstrom racing toward the first base dugout, and he runs into someone from the Blue Jays dugout. Kikuchi was trying to move out of the way, and he went shoulder on shoulder with Soderstrom. They land in a heap, and the umpires are going to discuss this. Well, I don't think it was intentional. I mean, Yusei Kikuchi looked like Troy Polamalu going across the field there. He took out Soderstrom. And the umpires are discussing it right now.
Well, I'm almost assuming that they'll call him out. But that's a scary situation for Yusei Kikuchi. He was just trying to get out of the way. That ball looked like it was going to bounce right where he was sitting. That is a scary play right there for Yusei, for Soderstrom.
And they are going to call the out. I mean, granted, if he wants to play for John Madden's Raiders,
oh boy,
he would have fit right in. That was quite the hit. The good news, everyone is okay. Kikuchi is up. He's okay. Soderstrom maybe a little bit peeved, but that's all.
Well, the scariest part about that was...
Well, now the Athletics are barking at the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are up and out of their dugout.
Well, I don't know what anybody's barking at. Obviously, Yusei was not trying to do that.
He gave up 3 runs. Now he's a fucking chirper. Gives up 3 runs, and now he wants to talk.
Apologies for some of the foul language there. But a lot of back and forth, and there are still several Blue Jays out of the dugout right now. Kikuchi was not the only Blue Jay who ran out of the way. He just picked the wrong route, was looking up, didn't see where Soderstrom was.
Number 48, Spencer
and
Horwitz.
Ran right into him. And still, I mean, you got Manoah, Bassett, a couple other guys standing up out of the dugout. But I think we're going to get back to baseball in a second.
And if there's one guy that you think on this Blue Jays roster that wouldn't do that intentionally, it's probably Yusei Kikuchi.
Yeah, I mean, there's just... I'm not there. I'm not in Kikuchi's brain. There's no chance that Yusei Kikuchi thought I'm going to go body check Tyler Soderstrom on purpose. That is about the least Yusei Kikuchi thing that could happen. Not to mention, clearly it's going to be an out. Like, there's no way around that. Spencer Horwitz now will get an intentional walk. And Danny Jansen's going to hit with first and second, 2 down. Here's the pitch, called strike 1 on the inside edge.
Well, I have to say that's probably the only time I've ever seen something like that happen.
That was wild. The 0-1. In the dirt, bounces away from the catcher Langoliers. Both runners will advance. IKF to third. And Horwitz to second. At the same time, you do understand frustration both from the A's and people around them. I mean, it's another tough year. This is the last year of A's baseball. It is not a very positive environment right now. But there was some barking. I believe Aledmus Diaz, or no, it was Max Schumann, the rookie shortstop, who went over to the first baseline near the Blue Jays dugout as the next pitch to Jansen's down and away, 2-1. He went over and was talking to the Blue Jays dugout. That got everyone up out of the dugout. 2-1 pitch outside again, 3-1.
Well, I think that's just silly. That's when you just don't understand the situation. There, like you said, there is no possible chance that anybody on the field, let alone Yusei Kikuchi, is trying to body check Tyler Soderstrom right there.
3-1 pitch, called strike 3 and 2. I mean, this isn't 89. This isn't 92. There's no rivalry between this team. These teams have not met in the playoffs in a long time. There's no shot they're going to meet in the playoffs this year. The A's are 26-40. 3-2. Jansen swings and fouls it back.
Look, I can understand maybe the mentality of body checking somebody in between first and second, maybe in between third and home plate, maybe even the catcher. But not when you're sitting in the dugout and you're thinking about body checking the first baseman.
3-2 again. Outside, ball 4. Appeal to first, and they say no swing. It'll be a walk, and the base is loaded. As this one gets a little bit uglier in Oakland. Austin Adams, the reliever, picks up the rosin bag and whips it back down onto the mound. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach, coming out to talk to him. A lot's happened this inning. If you joined us midway, 3-3 going into the 10th. A walk by Adams. He hit Dalton Varsho. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa destroys a bases clearing double. Then a pop-up first base foul territory. Kikuchi looking up, trying to run out of the way out of the dugout of a pop-up. Levels Tyler Soderstrom shoulder to shoulder. Batter called out, Davis Schneider. Tempers flare from both dugouts. And then an intentional walk and a walk later, and the bases are loaded for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Big swing and a miss. 0-1.
And this is really the only stadium where something like that would even happen.
Well, because there's just an incredible amount of foul territory, and the dugouts are really slim.
Well, there's no wall in front of the dugout.
The 0-1. High, 1-1.
I guess at the old Sky Dome it would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, most, if not all ballparks used to not have that front fence. Kikuchi, I think you could see Barrio started to the left when that ball was going over, and Kikuchi kind of moved to the right, which was the angle Soderstrom was coming at. 1-1. Outside 2-1.
Well, I also think that Kikuchi was looking at Langoliers coming to make that play as well, the catcher, and he didn't realize that Soderstrom was right there, right next to him, and just absolutely drilled him.
2 down, bases loaded. 2-1 pitch to Guerrero. Huge swing. It's 2-2. Vladdy was one of the first to come to the defensive Kikuchi right after it happened, and it looks like he's trying to make a statement with the bat right now.
Well, the bases are loaded, and with that swing right there, you know exactly what he's trying to do.
2-2. Swing and a hot shot right side, foul into the stands. Blue Jays have 2 grand slams on the year, one from Guerrero in Washington. Lions hit a grand slam in each of the last 2 seasons. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Adams gets him, and that will end the 10th. The Blue Jays score 3 on the Isaiah Kiner-Falefa bases clearing double, and after a lot went on, they'll go to the bottom of the 10th. Up 6-3. Toronto trying to close out a series win in Oakland. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Romano offers an 0-2. Swing and a miss. There are 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control. Jays lead the A's 6-3 as we head to the bottom of the 10th in Oakland. Extras continuing out west. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. I will have a solo edition of the postgame show. I'll throw the numbers out for you to call after the final out. 590-590 is where you can text me. The People's Text line is always open. You want to talk about Yusei Kikuchi bodying guys? You want to talk about IKF? Wherever you want, we'll do it on Jays Talk after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays lead at 6-3, bottom 10 in Oakland. Genesis Cabrera now on the mound. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays will give Cabrera the save opportunity. The lefty looking for his 3rd career save and first since 2022, or make it his 4th career save. First pitch is high and outside to Abraham Toro, 1-0.
Well, here's the biggest thing. You don't worry about that guy on second base, and you focus on throwing strikes. That's really all that matters right now.
Blue Jays pinch ran Ernie Clement last inning. He's at 3rd now. IKF at 2nd. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0. So Toronto has taken away the DH. And technically, Cabrera is now in the spot of Spencer Horwitz, who's out of the game. 2 balls, no strikes. Ghost runner on second is Max Schumann. A look at second and the 2-0. Fastball in there, strike 1. Canadian Abraham Toro has 2 RBIs on a 1-for-4 day. 6-3 Blue Jays, bottom of the 10th. They turn the switch hitter around to the right side by bringing in Cabrera. 2-1. Hit on the ground, up the middle, fielded at second by IKF. Looks at third, but throws to first for the safe out. Schumann will advance 90 feet, but there's one down.
Good job by Genesis Cabrera right there, throwing a strike. That's really all you're trying to do. Throw a good pitch down in the zone. And again, you're not worried about that guy at second base. Now at third base, that's an unimportant run. The only thing you don't want to happen is the tying run coming to the plate.
Here's J.J. Bleday, the hero from Game 1, with his first ever walk-off in that game. He's up with one out, a runner on third, 6-3 Blue Jays the pitch. Swing and a grounder. Hit to second. IKF comes up with it. Schumann will score, but the throw over to first. And there are now 2 outs. 6-4 is now the Blue Jay lead with the bases empty.
Good job throwing a strike right there with the cutter. Now you got 2 outs. Now you got to work. Throw a good pitch down in the zone. Get out of this thing.
Blue Jays have used a ton of arms today. The only guys that they haven't used out of the pen are Tim Meza and Brendan Little. A 7-pitcher day for Toronto, up 6-4, bottom 10. The pitch to Rooker is hit in the air. Right side, Guerrero running into foul territory. Circles back. It's out of play, 0-1.
A lot of Blue Jays fans over there.
This, in theory, is the last time the Blue Jays will ever play in Oakland. The spot that they've had so many big battles with the A's. 0-1 outside, 1-1. They bested Oakland, although clinching it in Toronto. They bested Oakland in 1992 in the ALCS en route to their first World Series. 1-1. Hit on the ground, right side, right at the second baseman, IKF. Gets up, throws over to first, and ends the game. Fitting that Kiner Falefa makes all 3 plays in the bottom of the 10th. His 3-run double in the top half secures the win and series win for the Blue Jays. 6-4 the final.
Well, Isaiah Kiner Falefa comes up with the massive hit in extra innings today, and he ends the day with 5 RBIs. What a big day for him. A big day for Bowden Francis as well, coming in and pitching 4 innings. That's really all you can ask for. If you're John Schneider, you give your guy maybe 4 or 5 innings and he gives you a chance to win. But the bullpen came up big today. Isaiah Kiner Falefa came up big today. A huge win for this team.
Blue Jays were trailing after the 7th, but they win 6-4. We will take a quick break, wrap this one up, and send you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball. Blue Jays win 6-4, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A game-tying blast from Bo Bichette
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Come back late, tie it up, send it to extras, and beat the Oakland A's 6-4 in their final ever game at Oakland Coliseum. Appreciate you sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 6-4 is the final score. And Chris, this was a really interesting matchup coming into this game. You had Mitch Spence for the A's, recently put into the Oakland rotation due to injuries. You have Bowden Francis pitching in the Blue Jay rotation, in part due to injuries to Alek Manoah and Yariel Rodriguez. And we saw good performances on both sides.
Yeah, Mitch Spence was incredible today for the Oakland Athletics. We didn't know what we were going to get out of him, but he's a true rookie. and he's having a great year for a true rookie. But I truly didn't know what I was going to get out of Bowden Francis today either. I said that the pitch limit would be 60, maybe 70. He ends up going 4 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, only walking 1. That's an incredible performance from him. I'm sure John Schneider and Pete Walker are ecstatic with that performance.
Francis goes 4 scoreless. You get some solid relief appearances out of Pop, Green, Garcia, Cabrera. The Blue Jays, though, did not have a lot going on. As Spence pitched well, that meant the Blue Jays did not hit very much early on. They had 2 hits, including Horwitz's first of the year in the first inning, but left a runner on base as a double play killed that inning. They did score 2 in the second, a double from Turner, a single from Springer, and then Kiner Falefa knocked them in. That would foreshadow some stuff coming up later. But the A's, with a Brent Rooker home run off Nate Pearson in the 6th, made it 2-1, and then Abraham Toro just flicked to Trevor Richards' changeup into shallow center to score 2 and make it 3-2. Toronto did something they rarely do in the 8th inning, Chris. Dalton Varsho got on, and they manufactured a run about as much as you can do it with a bunt, a steal, and a sacrifice fly.
Well, it wasn't so much the manufacturing that surprised me. It was the fact that IKF was the one to do it. He is so good with the bat. We saw that in the 10th inning, but he is so good with the bat. When I have a guy like that up at the plate, I want him to at least try to get a base hit. Guys like that can really try to find the hole in that infield, and he did a good job with the sac bunt, but I was surprised that he was the guy that they chose to do that.
It did end up working out, as right after the bunt, Varsho stole third. Davis Schneider pinch hitting, ended up hitting a sac fly. Mason Miller and Jimmy Garcia each set down their allotted 9th inning lineups in order. We went to the 10th, where Austin Adams got off to a shaky start for the A's. He walked Justin Turner. He got George Springer on a lineup, but the ball was scorched. He then hits Dalton Varsho with the first pitch, and Isaiah Kiner Falefa comes to the plate for today's play of the game. Bichette on third, the ghost runner. Clement on second, a pinch runner, and Varsho on first. With 1 down, the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a smash. Left center field. Over the head of the outfielders and down on the track. Bichette scores. Clement scores. Varsho around third. Throw to the plate late. It's a bases clearing double for Isaiah Kiner Falefa. The Blue Jays up 6-3 on a 5 RBI day by IKF.
When Isaiah Kiner Falefa comes to the plate in big situations, he slows the game down. He doesn't let the game speed up on him. And before he made contact with that bases clearing double, he took a couple of tough pitches from Adams, and I think that's the most important thing when looking at that at bat. It gives you a chance to get a mistake from a pitcher. Adams was behind in the count, obviously doesn't want to walk in the go-ahead run, and he throws that spinning slider right over the middle of the plate, and IKF absolutely drilled it.
A career-high 5 RBIs for Isaiah Kiner Falefa. He knocked it enough to beat the A's on his own today. Toronto wins 6-4 as Genesis Cabrera picks up his 4th career save and first save since 2022. A little bit of back and forth in the 10th inning after a wild Yusei Kikuchi-Tyler Soderstrom collision on a foul ball over near the first base dugout. The Blue Jays win, though. They take the series, and they're unbeaten in 4 straight series for the first time since April. They go to 32-33. The A's now 26-41. Toronto posted 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors, left 4. The A's 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors, left 6. Jimmy Garcia with the win. He's 3-0. Austin Adams with the loss. He's 0-2. The 1 save for Cabrera, his first of the year. This one took about 2.5 hours in front of 11,000, 18-degree sunny day, the final day that the Blue Jays will play at Oakland Coliseum. They wrapped it up in style, a great way to close out a historic rivalry. And now the Blue Jays head way north to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to start a 3-game set with the leaders of the NL Central coming up tomorrow. Jose Barrios and Colin Ray face off. First pitch at 8:10. We'll start game coverage at 8 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Appreciate you tuning in today. For our technical director, Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great finish to your weekend and get your calls and texts in because it's a series-winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali starting right now.
Back in December, right at the end of the year, I was actually on the air with our pal Roger Lajoie, and the news that IKF had signed with the Blue Jays broke mid-show. And since then, that was 2 days from the end of 2 or 3 days from the end of 2023, I think. I readily admit I did not have IKF with a 5 RBI day and batting well over 300 over his last 18, 19 games now. I did not have that on the bingo card, I got to say. I also did not have Yusei Kikuchi bodying an opposing player off the bench on the bingo card as well. I didn't have either of those things there. Kikuchi with the old Dion Phaneuf on Soderstrom in foul territory. As long as he's okay, then you know what, Yusei? You do you, man. Body those guys all you want. You lay them out. I'm all for it. But hey, Jays grab a 6-4 win over the A's to wrap up the series in Oakland. Like Ben and Chris were saying, the last ever game for the Jays out west at the Coliseum. Of course, the A's will play in Sacramento next year, and then in Vegas likely the year after if things go well for that. But the final game for the Blue Jays in Oakland at the Coliseum is a 6-4 win in the rubber match for them to win the series. Show Ali with you. You're listening to Jays Talk. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca. And on the Sportsnet app, you can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Text me as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line is always open. In all seriousness, on the Yusei Kikuchi thing at the end, I don't think Kikuchi on the replay, I don't think he saw Tyler Soderstrom on the play. On the replay, it kind of looks like the pitch, the foul ball in what is just an enormous amount of foul territory, right? So many balls that are foul there would be well into the seats at the Rogers Center, for example, or really most stadiums. But on the replay, kind of looks like Yusei looks up at the pitch as it's falling before Soderstrom even crosses the dirt into the foul side of first base. He gets out of there without looking up directly in front of him, and then he kind of collides with Soderstrom. But hey, I mean, they were both fine. If Yusei wants to drop those guys like a bad habit, then you know what? I am all for it. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590 is the text line, the People's text line, always open. Let's take a look at the People's text line before we talk about IKF and the offense, the pitching. Jeremy in the Beaches. Actually, you know what? I see a lot of texts about IKF, really. Jeremy in the Beaches, wow. IKF all. I didn't see that coming. Underrated. Robert and Ajax couldn't be happier with what IKF has done so far, and I was not a fan of the signing at first. Above 700 OPS and a 104 WRC plus and fantastic defense. My credit to him. And there's another text here. There's no name on this one, actually. So if you do, just get a shout out here on the text line, but no name on this one. But it says, when will the Jays realize that IKF should be in the leadoff spot? I don't think so. You know what? I kind of like where he is right now. Maybe there is some merit to moving him up a teensy bit in the order, but I kind of like him giving some pop to the bottom of the order. You know what I mean? I think it's magnified a little bit because David Schneider has been batting, and David Schneider came through with a pinch hit RBI sac fly today, but I think it's magnified because Schneider, he was pretty hot, and now he is, I think I said this in the pregame show, but since mid-May, he's been batting below 200. So, well-deserved rest day for Schneider, and then he ended up playing today anyways. But I think I'm generally speaking okay with it, with Schneider staying in the leadoff spot. But I don't know, maybe if you want to keep moving it around, it's fine. But I have received quite a bit of text over the last, I guess actually over the whole season, not even just last month or so, as I was going to say. But we've gotten a lot of texts that kind of talk about the idea about maybe there is something to, letting it stay the way it is for a little while and seeing how it continues to play out. I mean, certainly if IKF continues to bat super, he continues to stay super hot at the plate, then maybe you have no choice, kind of like David Schneider made them have no choice but to put him in the leadoff spot, coinciding with George Springer not batting very well for most of the season. But, I think I kind of prefer him batting where he is because he has been playing very well. But you know what? Let's talk about IKF, right? He has 2-run single in the second inning. Immediately after the 2-run single in the second, he was batting 339 over his last 18 games. That is incredible. That's from the Blue Jays. But after that, the wild thing about this offense is that you get so many good results from them in very small pockets, and they don't seem to manage to consistently string those good moments out over a course of a whole ball game, right? Like yesterday, I kind of thought that, against pitchers who you should beat, they were capable of doing it, because I know a lot of you guys were like, oh, well, they took 2 or 3 from the A's, big deal. And it came down to the wire in 2 of those 3 games. 1 they lost and 1 they won. So I totally get that. But, they should at least be able to do a little bit more offensively against pitchers who you've never heard of, right? And Mitch Spence, there was a point where after IKF's 2-run single in the second, the Jays went 16 up and 16 down. Now, again, Mitch Spence, I think, played very well today. But the A's are 19th in team ERA and 23rd in opponent's batting average. Like, to have the offense go 16 up and 16 down, frankly, just not good enough. You can't be doing that. I mean, you can't be doing that against like the best teams in the world either, but against the A's, like, good heavens. I know they're not, like, no team is absolutely wretched, because they're all ball players for a reason, but I mean, in theory, if you want to be competitive and you're trying to claw your way back above 500, you should be better. Ultimately, they came through, again, thanks to IKF. But, man, I got to say, one moment which we could have easily made this the play of the game as well. I guess it could have been like a compilation to make it the play of the game. But that moment where in the 8th inning, you're down now 3-2, after Trevor Richards, with somewhat of an uncharacteristic outing for him, couldn't seem to locate the zone particularly well. And even the Abraham Toro jam shot, the little blooper, if you look at where that pitch was, way outside of the zone, like 6 to 7 inches to the right of the zone. And Abraham Toro kind of just sticks his bat out there, and it just bloops in there, kind of just past Bo, just before Kiermaier. So, maybe there's a little bit of unluckiness factor in there. But again, I mean, the offense for much of this game basically made the pitchers again have to walk the tightrope. But hey, I often see you guys on the text line. We get the calls as well. The proponents of small ball. You guys got a masterclass in small ball today. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the combined 8th inning from the Blue Jays could have just been the play of the game. Varsho gets on base with a single against someone who had been really tough. The guy hadn't allowed a run in ages, Alexander. But IKF comes in with another massive play, which is why he is certainly the player of the game. But IKF sack bunts him to second. Varsho aggressively stealing third. And then Davis Schneider, like I said, with a pinch hit RBI sack fly to tie the game. Hey, put that whole inning in the small ball Hall of Fame, right? But also probably best that they were managed to get it against Scott Alexander and weren't asked to do it against Mason Miller, who probably in the moment right now is the most dominant reliever in baseball. But great stuff. And then, of course, in the 10th inning, IKF bases clearing, a 3-run double, top 10, and then to put the cherry on top, he makes all 3 outs in the bottom of the 10th. So, hey, great stuff for IKF. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Let's go to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Russ in New Jersey. What's up, Russ?
Good afternoon. I think Dalton Varsho, you got to talk about his at bat. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's a good pitcher. He's 0-2 in the count. He works the count to 2-2. Now, I'm sitting there saying he's going to strike out, but the guy 0-2 against a tough lefty gets it to 2-2, doesn't try to do too much, just gets the base hit, and the rest you already documented. So that's, it's big, but I thought that was a great at-bat by Varsho, and obviously the stolen base. They're not. I think they're not in last place now. If I'm driving, but I think they're out of last place now. So, they're 1 game under 500, and now, I think this team a lot will tell. They're playing a lot tougher opponents. Obviously they get 7 hits today, so I'm not going to jump up and down against, like you said, some guys that aren't Cy Young or Sandy Koufax out there. So, we'll see what happens. Milwaukee's a decent team, and they're probably going to be pretty upset after getting their head handed to them by Detroit today. But, their offense is going to have to do a lot more in order to beat the better teams. And we'll see. I think this month is really a telling point. But if you look at it, what are we, 2 games out of the Wild? We're 1 game under 500, and we're only 2 games behind Minnesota. So, for all the optimists, you can look at it and say, listen, as much as we've struggled, if they could put something together, we could be looking, hopefully at that third wild card spot.
Hey, Russ, appreciate the call, man. As always, thanks for joining me on Jays Talk. Yeah, just to check the out-of-town scoreboard, actually, real quick. To Russ's point, if you're talking about the wild card, so the Twins are the team the Blue Jays are looking to catch because they occupy that third wild card spot. The Twins beat the Pirates in extras today, 11-5. So, gosh, they must have had quite the top of the 10th inning because the game was in Pittsburgh. So, 11-5 Minnesota wins. The Orioles swept the Rays. To Russ's point, and the Red Sox, just because the Red Sox are coming up pretty soon, the Red Sox also took extra innings, but they beat the White Sox in Chicago 6-4. So with all of those results, you basically have in the division at least, you have the Red Sox at 33-33. You have the Blue Jays a half game back of the Red Sox. The Blue Jays are now 32-33, and the Rays got swept by the Orioles, so they are 31-34. So the Rays now occupy the basement of the AL East. They are a game back of the Blue Jays, who themselves, like I said, are half game back of the Red Sox, and you have 6 games against the Red Sox coming up this month. So that's going to be, you haven't played the Red Sox at all this year. So certainly, as Russ says, for the optimists, you have some ground to make up, some room to make up that ground, I suppose I should say. And the Twins, like you said, really the two teams directly behind the Twins are the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. I guess the Tigers also winning, as you mentioned, would put them in that group as well. So the 3 teams behind the Twins are Red Sox, Tigers, Blue Jays. But that's a good place to be, or a better place to be. Having said that, Milwaukee, not an easy team to beat up, certainly. They're good, but maybe not great. They're the third division leader in the NL right now. It's Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers in terms of record. The Brewers are 38-27. So, they're a team you can beat, certainly, but you got to take advantage of these pitching matchups. I was actually looking at this earlier during the game because BNS, Ben Nicholson-Smith of Sportsnet, tweeted out the probables for the series starting tomorrow. It's going to be Barrios versus Colin Ray, Yusei Kikuchi versus TBA. It's going to be Carlos Rodriguez. He's not on the Brewers 40-man right now, but I think they had said earlier in the week that it is going to be Carlos Rodriguez. So Kikuchi versus the 22-year-old call-up Rodriguez, and then Wednesday, Chris Bassett versus Tobias Myers. Now, I watch a lot of baseball. I don't think I've watched a lot of Tobias Myers or Carlos Rodriguez. I actually have seen Carlos Ray. You got to win those matchups. And if you have Barrios, Kikuchi, and Bassett, you probably have the advantage in all 3 of those matchups, right? The Jays managed to avoid Freddie Peralta, who got banged around a little bit yesterday. But at the same time, to Russ's point, and we talked about this a little bit during the series. I think I talked about this when I did the solo show when Hogan Harris was on the mound for the A's on Friday. But, the Jays are regularly, they did it today too. They regularly make guys you haven't heard of look like, like Nolan Ryan out there, right? Like Mitch Spence was phenomenal today for the most part. Hogan Harris was great on Friday. Like, we're not talking about like Tyler Glasnow and Corbin Burns, right? We're talking about guys that you, in theory, should be able to beat. So, in theory, you have the advantage with Barrios, Kikuchi, and Bassett Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But still, you got to be careful too, because you're going to be playing against the guys like Willie Adames and Christian Yelich, and Bryce Turang has been phenomenal this year. A young guy who has been so good. So you got to be careful to be sure. Let's go back to the phones. 416-870. Actually, no, the call dropped. Never mind. Okay, well, those are the numbers to call. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the text line, 590-590, name and location. A text that does not support IKF being at the top of the order. There's no name on this one. So again, give me your name so I can give you a shout out. But this person says, if you stack all the quote unquote hitters at the top of the order, they will pitch around them below at the bottom of the order. You do need IKF or players like him to keep the runs looming over other pitchers. That's kind of why I like having IKF towards the bottom. He doesn't need to be batting at the very bottom. But Kiermaier and IKF, because they were batting 8-9 today, you know what? They haven't played poorly, I would say. They haven't played like badly. Certainly defensively, we know what they bring, and it's excellent defensively. But even Kiermaier, because we know what IKF's done, Kiermaier, I think, entering play today at a WRC plus of around 100, which is kind of what you want from most players, right? Bo, for example, had a WRC plus of like 82 or like 81 or whatever it is. So Bo has not been playing particularly well, but hey, we have seen Kiermaier, again, albeit in a relatively small sample size, play okay enough to, put some question marks in the pitcher's head. So I can kind of like having IKF towards the bottom, maybe batting 7-8 or 8-9 or whatever it is in terms of matching him with other guys. I think it's probably fine. Rob from Whitby just says, Isaiah kind of freaking rocks. I like that one, Rob. I do kind of like that one. And someone else says, Kikuchi can body those lads all day long. He pitches well. he can afford to take out some competition. And you know what? As long as he's okay, he kind of like went down and like had a slight grimace on his face for like the briefest of seconds. And I thought to myself, good heavens, it would be so typical of any sport to have Kikuchi go out there on a relatively innocuous play and get injured. Oh man, but he looks okay. So, you know, he looks fine. Austin from Bruce County. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is the best signing of the offseason in the entire MLB. Now, look, I have not looked at the production of like every other person to be sure, but I got to say, I mean, no, like, I remember I mentioned that I was on the show with Raj and he and I were talking about, hey, we wanted to have other guys sign with the Blue Jays. And he was a big proponent, if I remember, of JD Martinez. And I was a big proponent of Jorge Soler. And surprise, surprise, neither of those guys have played particularly well. So I don't know. I'm not sure if he's the best signing, but I mean that he is even close to being one of the best. Because look, obviously Shohei and Yamamoto, I almost personally don't count them. I just kind of put them in their own class, right? Maybe Teoscar Hernandez is the next guy, but of like the quote unquote average players, I'm probably going to say IKF is up there. You know what I mean? Like when we're putting him in the same class of signing as Kiermaier and like Candelario and Matt Chapman and like those guys. Because remember, if you guys remember the off-season list of people you could sign as free agents was like constantly being said to have been not a super hot or sexy one compared to, let's say, next year. And that like Matt Chapman probably was like the third best player outside of Ohtani and Yamamoto. So that IKF has been like one of the best ones. I got to say is a great development. It is. But I mean, obviously, if you're like objectively picking, it's Shohei Ohtani. But I mean, you know, Shohei is like a unicorn for many reasons. So I kind of like don't count him. 590, name and location. I know everyone, again, no name on this one. Just leave your name and location, so I give you a shout out. I know everyone is calling for Atkins ahead, and I don't disagree since him and Shapiro were all about building a team to succeed for years, but they have traded away picks and prospects, more prospects since you can't really trade picks, and haven't gotten much in the pantry. That being said, this team is better than their record, have really underperformed as a group. A great second half could salvage a first couple of months to forget. I think that's like a valid way to look at the season. That's definitely like a glass half full way, I think, way to look at the season. And I know I've been accused of being maybe like a glass half empty, maybe. But you know what? If they pick it up against the Brewers, you get a couple of games of the 6 games you have coming up against the Guardians and the 6 games you have coming up against the Red Sox. You take some wins in both of those games. I mean, both of those series, both home and away in Cleveland and in Boston and certainly at the Rogers Center. I think you'll feel pretty good about the Jays. Now, of course, the Cleveland series is a tough ask because Tanner Bybee has been very good. The offense certainly has been great for Cleveland as well. Like Josh Naylor and Jose Ramirez have been 2 of the more feared players in all of baseball, I would say. But if you can make up some ground, I mean, again, we're just, looking at a team that's 2 games out of a wild card spot. The Twins have not played the most inspiring of baseball in a much worse division than the American League East. So I don't know. I think it's definitely doable. Give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590 is the text line. That's where you can reach me. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from John Schneider. We'll read more of your texts and hear from you on the phones as well. You're listening to Jays Talk. Jays win at 6-4 over the Athletics in the final game at the Coliseum for Toronto. Jays Talk will continue after this on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Yeah, I mean, it's credit to the guys, you know. I think that we understand this is a long season and there's still, 96 games left, you know. So, proud of the way they're going about it, really, with, some adjustments that have been made, pitchers stepping up, and I think our at-bats getting better. So, again, long way to go in this year, and I think, the more we can just kind of keep churning out series, and love the way they fought back today, really. I mean, that's to get out of here with 2, and, after a tough one on the first night here, really couldn't be prouder of them, but they're in a good spot right now.
As John Schneider talking about leaving Oakland just 1 game under 500. The Blue Jays win 6-4 today. They get the series win, and they look ahead to another road series tomorrow, the first of 3 between the Blue Jays and Brewers in Milwaukee. You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali with you for another 10 minutes or so here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app as well. 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call, 590-590. Name and location is the text line. And the People's Text line, as you guys know, is always open. We haven't talked about the pitching today. And on a day where they only let up 4 runs, and certainly, I guess the last run, the 4th run, was, on a ground out from Genesis Cabrera. I think it was J.J. Bleday with the RBI ground out. But Bowden Francis gets the start today. And I think there were some questions as to, was it a good idea to start Bowden Francis? I think some people wanted to start Trevor Richards. And obviously, hindsight would tell you that Richards, he had a little trouble today, as we discussed. But I was relatively impressed by Bowden Francis. 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He threw 49 pitches. He had 31 of those were strikes. And early on, especially in the top of the first, or I guess the bottom of the first, pardon me, it felt like somewhat he was struggling to find the strike zone in that first inning. Like he threw a ton of balls and even the strikes that were out of the zone that guys were swinging on. But as the game went on, he did seem more comfortable in throwing pitches in the zone to challenge batters instead of kind of nibbling around the edges. He seemed to get in the groove with the curveball and splitter particularly. And we know the splitter actually is something he added in the offseason this year. But the curveball tumbling in there at 72 to 73 miles an hour is not something that's easy to deal with. Very Chris Bassett-esque of him. I'm betting he wasn't fully stretched out as he was after the spring when he was essentially anointed the team's 5th starter because he only threw 49 pitches. And in the first game of the season, which was tough. It was that big loss against the Astros, I think, in Houston. But he had gone 79 pitches. The next start, he went 77 pitches. So those are starts 1 and 2 of the season and 49 pitches today. I mean, he's just off the IL. So recently. That probably doesn't mean they want to push it, and doubly so. At the point where he was taken out, I guess it would have been 8, 9, and 1 in the order when he was taken out. So, one hit would mean you face a little bit more dangerous batters after Abraham Toro. So, probably the right move to not send him back out for the 5th. I generally liked what we saw from Bowden Francis. Probably one of his better starts, if not his best start of the season. He had some decent outings in relief, but I feel like we hadn't seen too many of those to the point where you might have been a little concerned. So great stuff from Bowden Francis today. Zach Pop came out for the 5th in his place, and he looked pretty nasty. Like, he got Aledmus Diaz, Max Schumann, and Abraham Toro to all go down swinging. The four-seamer looked pretty good. He used the sinker and the cutter pretty effectively against particularly Schumann and Toro as well. And, here's the thing with Zach Pop, because you've gotten questions about him before. If he has in fact found something when it comes to maybe being a medium leverage guy, because of course he came in and the game was 2-0 at that point. So it was still like it's not a save situation because it was the middle of the game, but you know what I mean? Like, the game was still relatively tight. But if you can find something of being a middle leverage, medium leverage guy, I think that'd be huge for this bullpen, especially after his struggles last year, right? I mean, I for sure thought his ceiling was relatively capped, and it still might be. And he has given up runs against better offenses. I think he gave up runs in 2 appearances, which I think were his only 2 appearances in the series against the Orioles at the Rogers Center. But all teams do need guys like this. So his place, while it might never be the highest of leverage, fireman type guy, but especially while Eric Swanson's still down in the minors figuring things out, and while Jordan Romano's down there with the injury and so on, having someone like Pop is certainly valuable. And again, will he ever be the highest leverage reliever? Probably not, but a middle inning guy who can help you bridge the game from the starter to the actual high leverage guys like Chad Green and Jimmy Garcia, and when he comes back, Jordan Romano is still someone who has a valuable place on ball clubs. So I am happy that he figured it out. Maybe I'm a little biased because he's Canadian, but I am glad he figured it out, or at least looks like he's starting to. Right? Maybe we shouldn't pencil him into the inner circle of trust just quite yet. But, maybe a guy that is on the fringes of the outer circle. I think that's a place for him. And, Nate Pearson, 436-foot bomb he gives up to Brent Rooker. He obviously did not mean to hang that slider. Still some things for Pearson to work on. He might be in the same place as Zach Pop, right? Because, both these guys, I think we know what their ceilings are, and you hope for the best outcomes when they're out there. But at the same time, I'm not sure they're going to ever be the highest leverage dudes, but at the same time, the bats for much of this game did not really afford the pitchers the chance to make more than a handful of mistakes. Same thing happened with Trevor Richards, right? And Trevor Richards didn't really have it today. He had some trouble finding the zone. And again, the Toro hit was what a wild blooper from him, just sticking that bat out there. But still, I will say, Chad Green, getting to see him for the second time in this series, and as Alan in a cab yesterday mentioned, you don't want to fully blame Chad Green. But I thought his second appearance was much better, right? He really dialed up the velo. He basically only threw fastballs and sliders. He actually threw only 2 sliders. Every other pitch he threw was a 4-seam fastball, and they were all basically 95 to 96 miles an hour, like 94 to 96 miles an hour, upper 95 point blank miles an hour for the 4-seamer. And he seemed to locate it pretty well. He threw them to great effect. Guys really couldn't hold back on the higher velo pitches, and he was dotting the zone too. So good to see that from Chad Green, and he looked more dominant today than he had in maybe since coming off the IL with the velo particularly. So that's good to see. We'd gotten some text on the text line about the trades, people wanting to see trades for other players, or certainly for the Blue Jays. Actually, I don't know if you guys have seen this. So these were some reports from. It was probably earlier this morning. USA Today's Bob Nightingale, who's been on this radio station and the network pretty often. And he kind of has the around the league type news and notes at the end of most of his articles every weekend. And so this is from this morning. Rival executives believe that if the Toronto Blue Jays don't turn it around and are unable to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette to extensions, they will be open to moving them. The Chicago Cubs have privately discussed the possibility of trying to acquire Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the trade deadline. I mean, privately discussed, I don't know what that really means. Is that if I talk to my pal and I say, hey, my fantasy team could really use so-and-so, does that count as private discussions? I guess, right? So I don't really know what privately discussed really means, but clearly teams are circling. So I still think it's unlikely, personally. I think it's unlikely that Vladdy gets dealt this year. And I know many of you are well, if they're going to deal guys, Ross Atkins shouldn't be the guy to deal them. There was a text here, Kevin from Toronto, show who is currently on your must-trade list this deadline, regardless of record. For me, it's Jimmy and Danny